Come on. Kid, man. Kid, man. Streaming. Yay. Warm-ups. Yes. Cool. No. Damn it. I know I shouldn't be offline. If you could put me back online, that would be great. Come on, Twitch. Come on, Twitch. Okay, cool. Yep, Claude writes, the best laid plans of mice and men. Yeah, you'd think even after having a schedule, like, things would just not go wrong. So, where am I looking for? I'm looking for, Dark Beast, Ganon. Okay. Let's see if there's one that's not, like, crazy expanded. Well, I just want phase 1. Copy link address. Put it in Nightbot. So song requests. Auto DJ. And let's request a song. So. Alright, let's try this one more time. Alright, so I don't know if anybody's noticed. Anybody's played it. I own a Switch, and I should probably hit start recording. And alarm for that matter. No, I don't need the world clock. I just need a timer. Cool. Alright, let's get to work. So, I was playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild this past weekend, and I finally got to a point where I was just like, screw it! I'm gonna beat the game now. And, I mean, and so, like, I finally beat the game, but as I was playing the game, I was just like, wait, I need to get a picture of Ganon. So, here I am on my horse, or rather, I have this really super awesome cutscene of Link, like, taking out his sword and getting on his horse and being all epic about how he's got the bow of light. Except that I really need a picture for the game's encyclopedia. So I get off the horse and run to take a picture. And I'm just thinking of how hilarious this is. And I'm just like, why am I doing that? So I decided that this week's video for SkipperWing Draws a Thing would be that moment and all of its dumb stupidity. I know it's the end of the world, and you need to fight this guy, destroy this guy before he destroys the entire world, but I really need a picture of him. So, we're gonna draw a Dark Beast Ganon chasing Link on a horse, doing a thing. And if you guys could, like, queue up some either Breath of the Wild or just general Zelda music, that would be great for song requests. It's gonna suck because, like, my tastes are kind of specific, so I'm just like, if you can keep it really a little bit faster, that'd be cool. And I just realized I don't know how to draw a horse galloping. So, reference, horse galloping. Oof, thank God for Google. Images. Oh, they're all from the side. Dang nabbit. Oh no, here's cool. Oh man, so much reference. Oh baby. Alright, so horses, when they're in the gallop, it's more of a... I find that horses tend to be divided into two shapes. There is the front, and then there's the back. And there we go. That's still not right. I am not good at drawing horses. Sorry, everybody. So, that's one of those things I really should practice, but I'm just not doing it. And, wait, did I lose everybody? Because that would be very awkward. And we're gonna pull the horse's head a little bit further forward. And we're gonna pull Ganon back a little bit. Oh, you have no idea, Best. Best writes Rocky start to stream. Totally. Yeah, like OBS has this weird habit of not starting sometimes, or rather not capturing my Cintiq screen. So which means I have to force a restart. And after the I should have checked it after the after that one issue with the muting, but I didn't, because it was working then, and now it's not and then it wasn't working, and now it's working now for who knows how long. So we're just gonna keep going and hope that it doesn't suck some more. So, and yeah, that's where we are. Oh, thanks, Bess. Let's try another thumbnail. I believe that's the end of that song. So let's see if there's another song request. Try and keep it Legend of Zelda for the time being. Storms remix. Zelda Song of Storms. Copy link address. And boop. Someone needs to edit that song together properly. Yeah, that's just not gonna work. So we're gonna delete that. Delete that. Control D. And keep trying to finesse this. Alright, I put in another song request. Why did I think this was a good idea? Well, let's turn that down. Let's zoom in a little bit too. So thumbnail process is always fun. So we have two elements on here. Oh my god, why am I so dying? Oof. Hashtag Skip does not know how to draw horses, because Skip doesn't really know how to draw horses. There's tons of reference, but I'm not using it. Or at least I'm not using it as much as I should. Do I plan out who joins me on stream, or is it kind of serendipitous? It's a little bit of both. Jiggy's has actually planned out for being on, actually planned out being scheduled for Wednesdays and Fridays. But pretty much no, it's pretty much serendipitous. Although there are a few people that I'm like, yeah, I will talk to you because I have a good rapport with you. Most of the time it's usually just not as big of a deal. Not right now. Actually, try it. Mostly because, like, I'm realizing that I don't have the best rapport with everybody, and even though I like to talk to everybody, it's not really as much fun as So yeah, I don't really plan out who's on my, or rather who's co-hosting with me at any given moment, or even if there is a co-host. But I'd like to have one on a regular basis. Mostly because, like, talking to myself is fun, but it's also not quite as much fun as just like as, you know, talking to somebody. And as much as I love talking to you guys, there is a little bit of a delay, so it's not really, when the chat really gets going, it's not really as much of a conversation as I would like. Drink and draw, bitch planet release Friday. Ooh, that sounds fun. Ballad of the Goddess. Smash. I might just put on my Smash Brothers playlist, which sucks, but whatever. Play that. Yep. Okay, so now the horse is 2. Why did that do that? Also, where's my Discord? Because I should probably be talking to somebody. Yo, Jiggy!
Hey, what's up?
Not much, I forgot to actually get into the Discord.
I know, I saw that. I was like, oh, he's not in his Discord. I guess he's not doing the Discord thing today. That's fine. I'll just put him on at least.
Well, I mean, I like to have it, even if I'm not using it. Mostly because it's just like, it helps. Like, I was telling Best in the chat that, I like to talk to people. Rather than just, like, talk to the chat. Because as much as I love the chat, there is a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't really...
At least when people go in Discord, it's real time. You're getting the messages.
Pretty much. So, right now I'm trying to draw this wallpaper of Breath of the Wild Link running away from the final boss of Breath of the Wild. I'm trying not to spoil it, even though pretty much everybody knows it's freaking Ganon. I'm trying to distort the proportions a little bit, so that way it feels like
Oh yeah, I'm watching it now. Okay, yeah.
Because
I'm actually working on a commission doing the same thing.
Oh, I thought you were working on playing Warframe.
No, I was playing Warframe, but I'm in the middle, like I'm taking a break. Because it's one of those extreme depth perception things, and then it was like, I have to step away for 2 seconds.
I feel that. So I'm trying to go for
the action.
Well, I'm trying to go
the action.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying to go for a fisheye lens.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
That shit's so hard.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, it's because it's not a traditional, like, you know, 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional. Even like a bird, like the bird's eye view is easier than doing the fisheye lens. Because all the bird's eye view is a 3-dimensional drawing. Like, oh god.
And meanwhile, Sans Squalette writes, "Hello, welcome to the Skip stream, Sans. You missed all the technical difficulties, so good for you." Oh, it was funny. somehow like something had hit my microphone's mute button.
Okay.
So
Nice.
I restarted Twitch to get that fixed, even though I didn't really need to restart Twitch to get that fixed, which sucked.
Yikes.
Then I restarted Twitch, and Twitch decided to not capture my Cintiq, which is just,
Oh, it's even better.
yeah, which is this weird glitch that just keeps happening. Like I just it's dealable with I can deal with it. Like, 'cause all I have to do is just restart OBS, but it's a pain to discover that right as a stream is starting, because then it becomes, oh well, guys, I need you to leave for 5 seconds so that I can restart OBS, and then I think I lose half my viewership that way, and that's not fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to find fisheye, like, because there's no. The one thing I don't like about the fisheye effect is because there's no vanishing point for reference. It's just like, it's a grid. It's literally a round grid where the squares get smaller on the outside, but it's big on the inside.
Well,
So that's your reference.
pretty much. Well, no, Best did stay, which I appreciate. But
Best.
I find more often than not, it's just, and this is like, if any of my students show up in my stream and quote me on this, I will deny it. So don't. But I kind of just wing perspective after a while. Like, I don't like lay out the grid, do the all the guides and all of that jazz, cuz it doesn't feel as organic as if when I just do it, I just wing it.
No, I feel that. I mean, also at this stage, like, you should have an idea of where your vanishing points are. So as long as you're in the general direction, I feel like, okay, you know, you're not screwing up too bad.
But and I say the reason why I say that to my students is that it's very much a do as I say, not as I do. Well, because like when I talk to my when I'm talking to my students, like, they hate their perspective class, and so I'm like, yeah, but you need to know it before you can start breaking it.
Yeah, and not even just that, like, because I'm watching you draw now on your stream, like, perspective can make the difference in making something dynamic or very static. And it's like, the drawing I'm doing for my own commission, it's like, it would be very static, but by creating that, even if it's a 2D, I'm sorry, there's one vanishing point in the thing, it's enough that it gives it some life.
Pretty much. I mean, that's, you see it a lot in shoujo manga, where they will tilt the camera towards a canted angle. And
oh my god, yes.
I'm like, screw you! It's still flat. You just changed the camera. You suck. And are still making like gajillions more money than I will see in my lifetime. But still, you still suck. So yeah, so I was telling the stream that like so I finally got fed up of like just kind of derping around in Zelda.
Okay.
And so I decided that I would go fight the final boss.
Okay.
And so as I'm doing it, I'm realizing that, oh crap, this might be my only chance to get it for the compendium. The compendium is like the Pokedex, essentially.
Oh yeah, we were discussing this. Yes.
And so I was like, wait. So Link, there's this really awesome cutscene where Zelda's like, I don't know if you've forgotten me, but even if you haven't, courage is never forgotten. And so Link whips out his sword, gets on his horse all dramatically, and then immediately gets off his horse and pulls out his camera so he can get the picture of this, like, of the Hellbeast of the Apocalypse.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's hilarious. And not only that, but like what I'm doing in the picture is actually not possible by the game's physics, because the button for pulling out your Sheikah Slate, aka your iPad, aka your Nintendo Switch or Wii U gamepad, is tied to the is also the same button that lets you pet your horse. So the first time I'm doing the fight, I'm like, oh, I'll pull up my camera, and then my horse, who's like freaking out because, you know, I'm running towards the dark beast of the apocalypse, is like, ah! But I feel soothed now because you petted me. And then I'm like, crap, I have to get off the dang horse.
Yeah,
So
that's like playing FF15 and the X button is to get on and off the chocobo, but it's also like the action button for everything else. So if you're trying to pick up an item or something, it's like, oh, I didn't want to get on the damn chocobo.
So, yeah, so I figured that it would both be kind of epic, and then I would also, you know, be kind of funny, because, like, why is he pointing his Chica Slate at them? Because he needs a picture. So, I'm just going to put the boss music on blast, because I'm not going to be able to manage the song requests or, do the thing.
Okay.
And I also need something sort of fast-paced, but also, like, Zelda related. So, I'm just gonna put on the music and just leave it at that. And, bruh. And he's just gonna have tons of fire just coming out of his snout.
Yeah.
Because the problem with Ganon in almost every game he's in is that, yeah, he's terrifying. And also because, like, Link is running on tank controls half the time. It's hard to, get a good view of him.
Okay.
Problem is that makes drawing him like a pain in the ass. But it's not like Bowser, where Bowser is like a series of circles. Circles and points.
Yeah.
Like Ganon is like, oh, by the way, I'm a pig, but I'm also on fire, and I've got runes on me, and oh, by the way, everything is like dark shadowed, except for whenever I'm on fire. And I'm like, motherfucker, you're impossible to draw.
This bacon's on fire. Sorry.
You're funny. So, I'm just gonna wing whatever the heck Dark Ganon looks like. Well, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have horns.
Yeah, I just got hosed, by the way. Oh, God, that was bad.
Wah, wah, wah. And meanwhile, Muma Extra Troller has joined the skip stream. Welcome, Muma.
No, Muma.
So, I'm just gonna pick one of the ones from one of the other versions of Dark Beast Ganon. Best Rice, Skip, tell Jiggy she's my fave. I would take that with a grain of salt because everybody is Best's fave. Because Best has many faves.
Oh, they sent another one. Okay. Yeah, so...
Warframe?
Pretty much. Yeah, they sent their best and brightest to come after me because I pretty much pissed off everybody on the level.
Well, to be fair, that is your MO.
Well, it's supposed to be a spy mission. It's supposed to be the key operative word.
See, that's where I come in, because that's that's my specialty when it comes to video games. Or actually, no, it's not at all. It usually takes like 15 different tries for that to happen, but still.
Yeah. Okay. But as for bacon, Ganon bacon, because he's fried. So.
Why? Don't take my epic away.
Nah. I'm watching you draw the thing. Oh, it's kind of pretty good.
Well, this is just the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Which is actually really starting to, like, I'm starting to really appreciate that now, in that sort of, like, I'm humble but not humble kind of way. Because, like, every time somebody sees my thumbnails and they're like, oh, that's really good, I'm like, it's just a thumbnail. I haven't started yet. Rather, I have not yet begun to fight.
I think you're just so OCD, even your thumbnails look pretty and clean. Simple and clean, like the song.
Oh, that song. I love that she actually speaks English.
Well, you know she has, her father was like some hotshot for Sony Japan, so she was always going between America and Japan. She
did not know that.
Citizenship because, yeah, her mother is like a famous, I don't want to say Inca, is it Inca? Enka.
Enka, yeah, Enka singer.
Yeah, her mom's a famous Enka singer, and her dad is a music producer for Sony Japan. So, it's kind of one of those, yeah, she was born in the biz.
It happens. Well, then again, you could say that about, like, almost every sports star's kid that never, you know, becomes a sports star.
Yeah, but she's famous because she's actually talented.
Well, she's dedicated. You know, it's weird. I go back and forth on how I feel about talent, or the idea of talent.
Yeah, she doesn't just have the talent. Yeah, she does work hard. She works on her brand. She stays away from the notion of being a quote-unquote idol. And I think Japan let her, or whoever Sony let her because of her status. Because she is married, or she was married. I think she's divorced now. But she got married, and she was still churning out like hit after hit in Japan. And you know the idol culture over there is like, no, you can't get married, you can't do that. And she's like, psh.
Your love must be pure forever.
Yeah,
Which is really dumb. It's like, well, I mean, I say it's really dumb, but I'm also American. Also, I mean, on a similar note, like, I would be remiss if I said, oh no, my favorite celebrity person has a girlfriend or has gotten married or what have you. Like, the day Emma Watson gets married, my heart will get broken forever.
The day Emma Watson gets married, I cannot wait to see what that wedding looks like.
Then again, you know what? If she gets married to Ellen Page, I'll be like, I'm fine with that.
She getting married to Ellen Page?
No, she's not. At all.
Damn it.
But, I mean, Ellen Page is gay.
I know.
So...
I didn't know Emma Watson was either.
Well, no. I mean, Emma Watson's actually been very tight-lipped about that sort of thing.
Well, she's British. She's allowed to be coy.
But I mean, cool. Do I want to throw Zelda in here at some point? Actually, yeah.
Maybe. Why not?
Oh,
good.
Yeah. There we go. I might not draw Zelda though. Mostly because like her reaction is probably what's gonna sell it. Yeah, that's good enough for a wallpaper. Do I want it to be free or not? All right, stop recording. Put on the break timer. What am I gonna... Wait, first I need to save this. So let me save this to the desktop. Best rights. Japan has a lot of weird cultural values to me, but I'm American, so... And yeah, that's really how it goes for all of us.
Yeah. Like I said, it would be cool, though. Whatchamacallit? I don't know, just like, yeah, Utada pretty much broke a lot of the Japanese idol stereotypes, but no one's been pretty much, quote-unquote, allowed to do that since. I don't know why, but... if it worked for her, you think they want to replicate the business model.
You would think. Alright, so image compression none. Increasing layers will reduce. That's fine. Alright, now let's put on the proper break timer.
Proper?
Well,
Why,
because
the break timer wasn't proper before?
Well, because usually if I set myself for 3 minutes, I don't have a chance to, you know, stop and not draw, which is the point of taking a break. So, because, I mean, I have this weird problem where my breaks will usually be not so much stop working, as it'll be, like, stop working on this one thing, go work on something else.
Yeah,
best rights,
break.
Yeah, best rights, remember to hit record when you start back up. So, yeah, I started the proper break timer now, and so now I'm just, like, I'm changing the name, so... Zelda... We're gonna call this Zelda Snap.
Pardon me.
No, that's all good.
Hubby made, the most awesome burgers for Memorial Day today.
Well, color me jealous.
Yeah, they were so good and juicy. And it was like, well, he put cheddar in mine because I want the cheese. But it was like spinach, mayo, onions. Everything was fresh on like pretzel brioche buns with salted fries. And I was like, I'm done. Just pop me, I'm done.
Well, to be fair, you like you're once you find your really super awesome food, then you're just like done for the night.
Yeah. Well, he can also cook, which was I was like, yes. Normally it's just sausages, and he makes really good sausages. It was like he's like, I'm gonna make burgers, and he doesn't like get the beef patties, like he makes them from scratch. Like he gets the ground beef and he seasons it and all that good stuff. So it's like, yes, real meat.
That sounds tasty.
I know. Oh my god, if I wasn't so full, I'd be like, hey, can you make another one?
Nobody cares about email.
Email? Was your email sending you messages?
No, I accidentally hit the new email app on it in Windows 10.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. Sorry. A bit of blackberry caught in my teeth.
Ooh.
I love how I turned into like a small puppy for like 5 seconds.
Oh my god, was it like stuck like in where the gums are and it's like it's pushing against it?
No, just like between the teeth.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, Chips and Solstice is here.
Chips and Solstice.
Yeah, Chips and Solstice is watching a skip stream. Yeah, I love it when like somebody quote unquote lurks in the stream. It's like you can't, if we're friends, we can't lurk. That's not how this works. Like it tells me your friend Chips and Solstice has just started watching and it's just got the little flirty hi. So I'm doing all right, Chips. How are you doing tonight? All right, so let's get back to the party. I'm trying to think if I want to do more detail or if I just want to leave it as is for the thumbnail. Where's the alarm? Reset. Start. Reset that. Start recording. Because I'm not really going to get much more detail in this than I already have. No, you're good, Bess. I'm just like, it just tells me. So I'm trying to think if I want to do more detail in this thumbnail, before I move on to, inks and paints, or rather, pencils. And actually, I might just go straight to inks and paints with this, because, I can pretty much figure out what I want to do in terms of art. I'm going to go in on the horse a little bit, and turn off caps locks, because that's not... yeah, I definitely want to go in a little bit, do a little bit more detailing on the horse. And I might just go in and clean up the thumbnails just a little bit more. Do I lose Jiggy?
No, I'm here.
Focusing?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm on a complicated puzzle, and it's timed.
Wah, wah, wah. Wish I could help you out, but, you know.
No.
Whoa, Muma X Controller is now hosting my stream. Awesome. Thanks, Muma.
I'm gonna lose it. I'm not gonna be able to get it. Fuck. It's okay. As long as I get one, that's all that matters. I got the first data.
That's good.
Yeah. It's okay. Because I'm farther along in the game, so it's the same missions over and over, but it's they up the difficulty and the complexity of the puzzles.
Also, Best Ever is now hosting my stream. Thanks, Best.
Yar. Thank you, Best. Best is the best.
Indeed.
Alright.
That's not how what a horse's skull looks like, but I don't care, because I just want to get this done so I can move on to inks and paints.
Like.
I don't draw a lot of quadrupeds.
I can get pictures of horses.
Well, it's not so much a matter of the reference as, like, eventually you have to get a feel for it. Like, that's why, like, my choreography poses are pretty good, because, like, I can get a feel for the body. But, doing the horse itself is just its own sort of, like, nightmare. And it's one of those things where it's like I think that's part of the allure of drawing fan art, is that it challenges you in ways that your original work isn't always going to challenge you. Simply because your original work is just basically, I'm drawing what I like. I don't like drawing horses.
Well, that's why I like getting commissions at cons and stuff, because it's like, here, I want this. Especially if it's an anime or a manga I don't know, I'm like, can you give me a reference to go off of?
Well, and that's the other rub with that, is that sometimes people are like, I want you to draw this. I'm like, I've never seen that. How come you've never seen that? It's life. It happens. And it's got pointed ears. And...
But even then, like you said, it just challenges you, and especially with commissions, it challenges you on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like, oh, when can I come back and get it? I'm like, come back in about 4 hours.
And so it's always weird because, like, I think the worst, it's also where sometimes, like, as a artist, like, where I run into trouble for commissioned freelance, is I do this thing where I'm like, oh, well, how do I do it perfectly, exactly right? The thing is, like, they don't care about that. They just want you to do it.
Yeah.
Whether they just want you to do it in your style. we don't give Link a chin.
Do it in your style, on the spot, now. It's like, oh, okay.
And it's not even like... Well, it becomes...
I was gonna say, it's... we both are like, yeah, by the way. Now, and sometimes I get a little scared because I'm like, oh my god, I hope they like it. And then when I see their faces, I'm like, okay, I didn't mess up, I feel good.
Thumbs up means yes, kiddo. Thumbs up means yes, you can have cherries. Yes. Yes, go. My niece just walked in and she wants some of my cherries. I said yes! So...
Oh boy.
Yeah, so that's its own kind of barrel of fun. So the cool thing is that, like, with, so, like, yeah, so it's always, I always get this sort of weird centipede's dilemma of, well, how do I do it in my style? What is my style? It's like, but it's, I just want literally the exact same thing you do every week on YouTube. That's all I want. What is so hard about that now? Now that you're being paid for it. Speaking of which, I need a reference of Link.
Oops.
I mean,
reference.
Well, because
Pretty boy.
Well, that's the thing with Link. That's really one of the things I've learned with like with a lot of characters is that really a lot of them can be simplified down into a some sort of, not so much stereotype, but some sort of like what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
They can be simplified down into like a series of archetypes, not archetypes, but visual archetypal cues. So like Mario is just like a series of circles. Luigi is a sausage.
Luigi's a sausage.
Seriously, the man has no chin. Like he has no chin. Like there's just a bump where like the skin like rubs up against the collar of his sweater, which I found interesting. They wear sweaters. Like in the more detailed games, Mario and Luigi are wearing sweaters underneath their coveralls. Which is always weird because like you go to conventions and people are wearing not so much they're not really wearing sweaters. And Link is something about him is too sharp right now. So
I was gonna say his face is very soft.
Yeah, there's a problem.
By the way, it's not a critique of your work. I'm just saying. I just know from looking at him, he's semi-babyish.
Yeah.
At least to me.
Well, because he is semi-babyish. It's what gives him his silky smooth curves. Link canonically has curves, unless it's Toon Link, in which case that would be pedophilia. No, thank you. Like Link is a very pretty boy. Like if you play Breath of the Wild, there's a part where you have to get into Lady Town. And the only reason...
Yes! I heard about that.
And the only reason Link can pull it off is because he looks so much like a girl.
Because his face is very feminine.
So... See, now I'm getting that sort of like, well, how do I draw a feminine? I'm like, I just drew a woman last night. I drew a snake woman last week. How do I not know this?
Yeah, you just draw a female face, and then... add masculine touches here and there instead of a male face with feminine touches here and there. I don't know.
Okay, well, it's still too sharp. Like now he's like it's not as masculine, but it's still not effeminate enough. Plus, I still want to see teeth. Oh, somebody drew this really cute fan art of like original like first edition Link passing the Master Sword off to Breath of the Wild Link.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, just a lot.
Oh my god, speaking of cute and all that stuff, there's an anime. Now, we talk about how there's all these genres. There's an anime about cooking. There's an anime about making anime. There's anime about everything you can think of. There's an anime coming out about high school boys that like Hello Kitty, specifically.
Really?
I kid you not. Yes, I was like, I dropped dead. I was like, I'm done.
I'm down for that, actually.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not gonna knock it. I'm like, there is an anime for literally everything at this point.
Yeah, the West could learn to, you know, take a little bit of a lesson from that.
Yeah. We were watching the commercial for it, and I was like, wow, they're so cute. And then all the stuff they like is cute, and it reminds me of the manga Otomen, which was a manga about, and this is like 10 years before this anime. It was about high school boys who like feminine things. Like, the one guy, like, his big secret was he knows how to sew. Like, he's great at making cute little stuffed things, like stuffed animals, how to sew clothes, stuff like that. And then, like, throughout the manga, he meets other high school boys like him. Like, they're straight, but they like cute things.
Which is weird, because, like, that got extra credits into, like, a little bit of a kerfuffle with, not so much Atlas directly, but the fan base for Persona 3. 3 or 4.
Oh, God.
Like, with, Kanji?
Well,
Cause, like,
is it blue or yellow? Is it blue or yellow?
Ooh, the
Persona color, like, shrunk. Like, every Persona has a dominant color. If it's blue, it's 3.
It's the one where, like, it's not the one where they shoot each other, they shoot themselves in the head. It's the other one.
It's the card one. That's Persona 4.
Yeah. So, okay. Like, extra credits was like, yeah, it's cool how, like, how they explore Kanji's sexuality through his hobbies, and the fan base is like, but he's not actually gay. Like, Atlas actually said he's not actually gay. No. And they're like, there we go.
And I feel like that's where a lot of, like, Western perception and bias gets a lot of, like, that's where I feel like there's more Western perception and bias because, like, Japanese people don't think like that.
Yeah.
Or I'm not gonna speak for all Japanese, but just seeing the stuff they write, they're like, nah, we don't think like that.
So it was weird because it was like I thought it would have been cool if he was, but I also understand that, you know, part of the evolution of what we define as manliness depends on not just like on not codifying certain behaviors and stereotypes as specifically gay, unless a person embodying those stereotypes actually outright says for themselves, yeah, no, I really do embody those stereotypes because I like those things.
Yeah. I mean, technically, I could pass as quote-unquote gay, because my personality and my demeanor is definitely not strongly feminine.
Yeah, you're kind of butch, Jen. It's all good. But,
let's see.
So it's funny, like, playing Breath of the Wild, and, like, you get to the point in Gerudo Village, or Gerudo, because apparently now we have voice acting, we have official pronunciations for everything. Apparently, it's Gerudo with a hard G, not a soft G.
Well, if it's made by Japanese people, yeah. Because, there's no, like, B sound or the BV sound are the same, so they don't change the writing for it.
Well, same thing with the L and the R.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I always figured it would be one of those things where it's like, we have no L sound. Or rather, is it R or L? No, we have no L. But yet
there's no L sound.
But yet there's a character in Death Note whose name is literally L.
Yeah. So
I figured it would be one of those things where it's like, in translation, this is what we were going for, even though we don't actually have that word. And I just realized that L is named that way to not just is named that way to sell how foreign he is. That just hit me.
To sell what?
How foreign he is. Because Light is Japanese, right?
Yes.
Light
is Japanese, and then they pronounce his name with the hard R to, like, emphasize how Japanese he is.
But then L is foreign.
Yes. I mean, and that's the other thing about about anime and manga that's, well, mostly anime, because I don't read much manga anymore, but anime, it's funny when they try to portray foreigners. There was one anime that Chris and I watched called Durarara.
Oh, I remember that.
It's funny. Okay, so there is a Russian sushi bar, a black Russian sushi bar owner
named Isaac.
Sucks. Yes, his sushi sucks though.
Aw, poor Isaac.
But it doesn't matter. He's like a really nice dude, and like the big thing with him is his Japanese is not only bad. It's like half the time they're like, "What are you saying?" Because he's speaking Japanese, but it's not like I guess the allegories and the context he's using is off.
Wow, why did that do that?
Why did you do that?
Well, no, because I like holding I like to have on the touch function on my on whatever tablet I'm using, so like I can do stuff with my hands.
Okay.
But Microsoft still hasn't quite worked out. Neither Microsoft nor Wacom has really worked out the entire kinks of that system. So what tends to happen is that sometimes my hand will actually get in the way. And I bought a glove for that, but I don't like how tight it is, so I don't wear it.
I'll give you. I have 2 gloves for my Unova. If you I'll give you one of them because I don't need both.
I'll take one.
They're made. I mean, yeah, but it's very soft and like I have pretty thick hands, so it's comfy on me.
And Link's head is too big again, mother fudger.
So, and you have slighter hands, so it should be comfy on you. And they're made of silky material. They're very, very, very nice.
Yeah, no, I'm just.
I was gonna say it's for because the Unova does have so it helps with the touch rejection. I actually use it for my iPad too, because I know the iPad has palm rejection built into it, but it's better to be safe than sorry and be annoyed.
I feel that. No, I'm just mad because like I think I drew Link too big for his horse.
I'm trying to think if it's the. Well, I'm trying to think. You're going for the fisheye effect, so he's supposed to be big in the center anyway, correct?
Yeah, but like proportionally to the horse, he's still kind of bigger.
Okay, because the horse is still in the foreground. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm looking at the screen now. I see what you're saying.
That doesn't. I mean, I'll fix it, but I just it's one of those things where it's like I will notice it now, and then I will fix it once I finish doing the pencils of this. I say pencils, but I'm probably gonna spend actually all night working on this, and then do the Crimson Fly sketch on my own time. I mean, once I hit midnight, no matter where I am, I'm stopping. Like that's just kind of a thing. But so yeah, let's shrink him down a little bit.
Shrinky, shrinky.
Still
because Link is not just cute; he's also petite.
No, too short. Okay, so he's still too big there. Okay, first and foremost, it's the head. The head's too big. Like, it's funny, like, I find with chibis, or even people who are drawing things that are supposed to be chibi, there's a certain proportion, like a golden ratio proportion. Like, it's not exact. Oh, yeah. But I find that sometimes people will not do it right. And I'll be like, yeah, I know what you're going for, but that character is not chibi. Like, I think for me, like, it's like the old depictions of Mario and Luigi in Western media versus, like, how there's a very strict racial proportion for them in games like, just in their video games. Let me see. Okay, so he's got the sleeve in here. And, cool. And never mind how he's hanging onto the horse. It's none of your business. Alright, let's put a bridle on this horse. Like, I'm kind of miffed that I don't have a reference in Photoshop as I'm going.
Okay.
Mostly because I'm one of those ones where I really hate the misconception that, like, artists work without reference or don't need reference.
Oh god, yes they do.
Well, because it used to be this really frustrating misconception. It's never actually stopped. But it's this really frustrating misconception that it's like, oh man, he just did it off the top of his head. And he didn't even color pick anything from anywhere. It's like, no, my reference is on my other screen. I just didn't set up my stream in such a way to highlight that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm not Leonardo da Vinci. I'm sorry. I'm not that much of an artistic genius.
Well, hell, even Da Vinci used reference.
He used reference, but he did it so many times that at some point he could, like, be like, yeah, I'm gonna draw this now. Boom.
Well, I mean, I'm not Da Vinci either, but I could have skipped straight to inks and paints. And muscle, or rather the...
But what I'm saying is like...
Well, he's like somebody's gonna watch a speed paint and think to themselves, oh my god, he's such a badass, he didn't even use reference. It's like, yes, I did! A lot of it!
The reference is on the other screen that you're not seeing.
So, and I don't know when my sniffles are coming back. They were gone all day. Except now they're back. Back again. Shady's back. Tell your friends.
Tell all your friends. Skip's back! Skip is back.
I think I'm probably gonna pull Kishimoto and just, like, work until my honeymoon. But,
Crimson Fly.
Well, because like Masashi Kishimoto, the creator of Naruto, didn't take.
Oh my god, yeah.
He didn't take his honeymoon until after the manga was over.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Yeah.
That's like 20-year wait.
Well, and that's sort of what's wrong with the manga industry. Oh wow, the music started to run out. What's another fun song? Oh. Full channel mix. What does that mean? So it was...
Oh my god, his wife. I feel bad for his wife. I would be the pissed off wife.
Well, to be fair, you're also American.
I know. The culture over there for manga creators is different. I get it. But I'm like, holy crow, 20 years?
To be fair, I know people who probably will never take their... either they won't take their honeymoon, or they won't take their honeymoon until they're retired. What's up, kiddo? Thank you. Can you just put it with my coat? Thank you. Like, the world has changed. Hello?
I'm here.
Okay.
The world has changed. No, I thought you were still gonna keep going.
Oh yeah, no, I am gonna still keep going. Oh, thank you for waiting, because almost nobody ever waits. It's the most frustrating thing in the world.
Sorry.
Well, it's not your fault. You actually pay attention. Listen, like, it's funny, like, I'll be in class, and then I'll say something, and then my colleagues will jump in and say, blah. I'm like, shut up and let me finish. Like, I haven't finished my thought. I know I'm very long-winded, but I haven't finished. Shoot, now I lost my train of thought.
Shit, now I'm trying to figure out where you were too. Like,
So, Kishimoto.
Modern day practice.
Honeymoons and stuff. Like, we don't save up enough money to be able to go do those things. And even if we did, like, they're just so expensive now. That's like, my honeymoon is me going on a road trip to go visit my friends. What used to be a high school thing is now a special occasion in and of itself.
Oh man.
Like, I was thinking about how I usually go for a weekly ice cream, or either weekly ice cream, and of course almost at this point daily cup of coffee. And it's something that my parents hate, because they're like, you're spending so much money on coffee. I'm like, yeah, I don't have time to make it at home, and when I'm getting up, I just don't have time for that.
I'm not gonna lie, I literally get up, and at the most I get to is like second gear, where I'm like, okay, I'm functioning just enough to get in my car, drive and not kill anybody, and get to work.
Pretty much.
Yeah, not even that, like, the no time at home thing is, I don't want to get up, I want as much sleep as possible, so I get up, I have enough time to get dressed, get ready, walk out the door.
Well, even, like, the nature of streaming is starting to change that for me. Like, I think part of the reason why I'm sick right now is because I haven't been sleeping when I should be getting sleep. Like,
No bueno, dude.
Well, it is what it is for the time being.
Oh, I know. But still, no bueno.
Just a lot. I don't think I'm going to draw Zelda for this. Yeah, no, I'm not going to draw Zelda.
Dude, it's so cute, and it's funny as hell.
Then again, do I want to draw Zelda?
What would she be doing?
Well, there would be just this, like, she'd have her hands up to, like, ah, what are you doing, face? You can't see the camera, but,
okay. Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna draw Zelda. Which is weird because, like, I like this incarnation of Zelda, but I also feel like sometimes the plot speaks to a lot of the problems that, like, not problems. I mean, they are problems, but the conventions don't, they still amount to, in the greater grand scheme of things, they're still very, very, not so much problematic as they're indicative of, no, they're problematic. I'm just gonna go there.
It's like, we're not gonna make this sound pretty, we're just gonna tell it like it is, and be like, yeah, it's still an issue.
Well, because, like, what I love about this version of Zelda is that she is the most proactive that Zelda has ever been.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just remember the first Legend of Zelda playing as Link and thinking the hero's name was Zelda the entire game. But then again, I was like, what, 8?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, this Zelda is hyper proactive. Like, she digs up the Guardians. Well, she gets everybody started on the quest to get ready for Calamity Ganon whenever he finally shows up again.
Right.
She trains she gets the Divine Beasts, basically the Megazords that serve the dungeon. She gets them ready for the champions. Mm-hmm. She does research. She's in charge of your Sheikah Slate, and then when Ganon finally comes, even though when everything goes to pot, she seals him away inside Hyrule Castle for 100 years. Like, she's very active in that. In fact, the only reason that you're necessary is that she can't do it forever.
Right. At some point, she's gonna get tired and Atlas is gonna shrug. Sorry, I read that book for a scholarship once. It was bad. But, basically, she'll get tired. Not tired, but she is gonna get tired and be like, I need help.
But at the same time, you know what it still amounts to? Gotta save the damsel in the castle. And it's like, and even then, like, she's very explicitly a non-combatant. Like, even in the times before the Calamity, she's still, like, passive. Like, she relies on Link to save her from ninjas. She's still, like, her father is forcing her into that role, but she's also not, like, actively she's not like, learning how to take combat moves or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But, like, it still boils down to, like, at the end of the game, I'm like, oh, man, you're cute, you're adorable, you're, and then she smiles at you, like, with, like, this, like, super awesome, like, I'm in love with your player character, but because I'm looking at directly at the camera, I'm in love with you face. I'm like, yay? Like, I mean, I'm, partly because I'm at a point in my life where it's, like, the whole separation of the meta-narrative has kind of, like, it kind of weirds me out, where I'm like, the 18-year-old me is like, aw, thank you, Zelda. I am in love with you, too. Whereas the 28-year-old me is like, I know what you're going for, but you're not actually in love with me, and you actually don't know my character. This is the same boy who pulled out the Master Sword in his shorts. Because he thought it would be funny for Twitter. So, like, I appreciate Zelda, and I appreciate the strides that the series has taken. But I'm also of the mind that some of the older archaic stuff just kind of doesn't age well.
Speaking of strides that's taken, Star Trek?
Oh, man. That was fun. A woman can't be captain, and that's why I had to switch brains with you, Kirk.
Dude, I saw the trailer, and I'm kind of excited. Because...
oh, Discovery?
Yeah, because the actress who's playing the captain, she's the main actress in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Oh, Michelle Yeoh? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes. And it's like, I loved her in that. I didn't see the second one, I should. But from what I understand, and I think and for me, because I know some of the background for the movie she's played in, when she played either was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or a couple movies before that where she had English-speaking lines, she didn't know English. She didn't know what she was saying a lot of the time. Like, her English wasn't that great, so they gave her lines, and she goes, she didn't understand the context of the sentence she was saying, so it had to be told to her in her native language, like, what it was about. So the fact that she's taking on this role where she is a main character, it's like, that's so awesome.
Well, here's the rub, though. The captain of the ship that, like, the quarter Vulcan person is captain of, I mean, is first officer of.
Oh, yeah, first officer, yeah.
That's Jason Isaacs. So something bad's gonna happen to Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, God. Jason Isaacs, you mean, hey, go here. Do this, and I'm the ghost of your girlfriend.
Also, I'm Draco Malfoy's dad, and I am fabulous. But, so, my only reason that I'm trepidatious about that is simply that I don't plan on getting CBS Access just so I can watch one TV show.
Yeah. I wonder if it's going to be on Hulu or Netflix.
If it's
like,
gonna...
if they're like before the release date, if they're going to do any type of expansion, because Hulu and Netflix have been making great strides and awards in independent content, like independent shows, and getting famous people in those shows.
Oh,
like they're heavy contenders. So it's like I'm wondering, to reach a wider audience, or the audience that would be interested in the show, I'm wondering if CBS would be like, okay, we kind of need to make a deal.
well, and there's the rub though, is that CBS Access, this is supposed to be their flagship thing. It would be like if saying Nintendo says, yeah, we really want to get this show, we really want to get Breath of the Wild out to the widest audience possible, so we're going to put Breath of the Wild on the Xbox One, even though it's not really in our best interest to do so.
Yeah.
So I don't see that happening anytime soon. I do eventually see it happening, especially if the show doesn't do well.
But that goes back to our other conversation about that too. Like, is it not doing well because they sandbagged it in some way, like not putting it on streams or media where it be grabbing the audience that it's intended for, or the audience that would most likely watch it, or is it because legitimately nobody wants to watch it? You know, the conversation we had with Wonder Woman the other day.
Mm-hmm. Which, I think, you know what's weird? Regardless of the actual quality of Wonder Woman, I think it's gonna do well.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, no, not even in the general, like, Beavis. It does well because it's got big money behind it, and it's, even a failure is technically successful. I think it's gonna genuinely, like, do well.
Right. And as and like I said,
I just drew a penis on his tusk.
I think it's gonna do well because, like, some people are saying they're gonna support it anyway, especially since that one theater was like, hey, we're doing a women-only showing, and so many men got pissed.
Mm-hmm.
And so that some people are seeing the movie, no matter what their reservations are, just out of spite. Like, oh, mm-hmm. you wanna get pissed off because you weren't invited to a showing? Fine. Now the viewings are sold out.
Nice.
So it's gonna do well. Like I said, my personal hang up about it is how they market it, how they treat, how DC treated it, and I'm just like.
Well, my problem with it's just, again, we talked about that earlier. It's just like,
yeah.
If DC doesn't have anywhere near the faith that they had in Beavis, then is it sexism, or is it an actual or is it actual quality concerns? So I'm personally waiting for reviews. I'm glad that the Alamo is doing what they're doing.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, I had to plug in my headphone. They were getting ready to die, so you cut out.
So, like, I'm gonna wait until reviews come out. I mean, granted, if I had a double set of X chromosomes, I'd probably do the Alamo showing. But I don't. So, well, and the other thing the other problem with going to an Alamo showing is that I find that it tends to skew your actual opinion. Like, because the experience of watching at the Alamo is so freaking good. Because, like, at the Alamo, like, you get dinner served to you by a waiter.
Oh, wait, it's one of those theaters?
Yeah.
Nice. I haven't been to one of those in a hot minute.
Well, actually, there's one in Manassas.
Nice.
Like, what's the thing is, like, me and a friend, we went to go see X-Men Apocalypse at the Alamo. And I swore that I would never watch, like, critically analyze a movie that I went to go see at the Alamo.
Because your perception is skewed by how you feel at the time of the movie, because it's such a great experience. You're like, oh, it's a great experience. This movie must be good.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, if you were to go to a crappy theater, have a shitty time at the crappy theater, and then it's like, this movie was so horrible. I didn't have a good time. Blah blah blah.
Pretty much, yeah. So, like, we came out of the Alamo, and we weren't sure whether or not it was a good or bad movie, because the time we had was so much fun. And, like, it was only a while ago afterwards, I was just like, no, it really was a crappy movie. Like, not crappy, it was a bad movie.
It's like, it wasn't just crappy, it should be taken out back and shot.
Well, no, actually, it's actually the other direction. It's more like, it doesn't deserve all my hate, like, say, something like, Spider-Man 3. but it wasn't good, but it wasn't like, oh my god, this is the worst movie ever.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I don't know. I guess because of watching so many film and studying film, it's like I can kind of see where like, oh, they're really trying to pull this. That's cute. So I don't think if the movie experience, because of how the experience is, I feel like I wouldn't be too much swayed. If a movie's bad, I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's bad. You can't bribe me with enough comfort for that.
Meanwhile, Furay writes, I like the movement in your piece. Looks cool so far. Yay!
Yeah.
Although I think the comedy's gonna get completely lost. Like, you kind of need Zelda for that reaction.
And I really should be watching your chat as well, because people are talking and I'm missing like a whole thing.
Not really. I mean, it's like I just noticed that Furay had actually said something. So
Can't walk far. Darn it. Okay, so I killed all the enemies. I can leave.
Cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, Zelda's gonna be in this piece.
Zelda's gonna be in this piece. You're doing it.
Well, because I need a reaction. Yeah, I need a reaction to it. To Link taking the picture, because I feel like that's gonna get lost and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my god, that's so epic!" And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's also supposed to be a little bit funny." So, Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's weird because by the time I got to the final boss fight, I was like, "Oh right, there's other things I'm supposed to be doing in this game too."
All the side quests.
Well, no, more along the other. It's actually in the opposite direction. Furay writes, do you have a DA or something where you post your work? I do. It's actually, I post to my Instagram. I don't post to DeviantArt anymore.
Yen.
Mostly because,
DeviantArt sucks. Sorry.
It will, yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. No, DeviantArt's just too saturated with too much fan art, and the culture's not toxic, but when you go in DeviantArt, it's like an artist hangout more than a professional to post your professional stuff, because everybody and their mom is on there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's how I feel like it is. So, like, you can't really stand out unless you, like, with anything else. You don't really stand out unless you already have a following.
Pretty much. So, I'm not really there anymore. But I am on Instagram because you can't download my stuff off of Instagram.
Yes.
So, like, I need a so anyway, I was saying with Zelda, with Breath of the Wild, when I finally when I was playing the final boss and they're playing the theme music of the game, and I'm like, oh right, this is supposed to be epic, and I'm like, I have no connection to this monster anymore.
It's like, screw this dude, I'm going home.
Well, it was like with Bowser, and everything in the game leads up to that final confrontation with Bowser. Even the idea that you are learning all these moves and abilities, and like hopping and skipping and flipping and kicking and twisting and turning to fight this character.
Right.
The thing is that I prolonged actually fighting Ganon for so long that that by the time I went to actually go fight him, I was like, right, this is the thing I was supposed to be doing. I forgot about this. Like, I might actually start a new game all over again, specifically just to regain that connection to the story.
Oh wow.
Like, I mean, that's kind of my problem with Breath of the Wild. As much as I love the game. Like, from a technical, like, gameplay perspective, it is the best Zelda ever. Like, the combat is the best. The puzzles aren't really as good as, like, aren't as memorable as in, like, in Ocarina of Time. But there's so many of them that it kind of doesn't matter. And, let me see, I gotta zoom in on her face so I can draw her. And,
that face.
And, I hate the curly, I hate the squealy pose. I really do. Like the one where you're like, you can't see it because you don't have the stream up. But
I do have the stream up actually. I'm
so,
watching you.
So when I did that thing with my hands, where I'm like, I hate that pose.
Yeah.
It's not practical. Like nobody does that anymore.
I don't do that. Like if my husband does something weird, I like point, but like my hand goes, her hand like being thrown out. Like, what are you doing? Like, yeah, that's actually more realistic of what would happen if someone was like, WTF.
And actually, let me see. Do I want her? Yeah, I want her looking at Link. Never mind. So, I hate it as a pose, but it works in this one particular scenario, and I hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. And I'll zoom in a little bit. I love that I can do that on a computer.
What?
Just like zoom in like infinitely, as long as you have like you're working at a high enough resolution.
Oh yeah. It's great. It's like pixel by pixel.
Well, I mean, and it gets even better once I actually take this into Flash. Okay, well, she doesn't have like rabbit ears. That's always weird to me. It's like they're human, or rather, they're elves. No, they're not elves. They're Hylians. What do you mean they're Hylians? What does that even mean? They have pointy ears. Yeah, but they're not elves.
They're not elves. They're Hylians.
It's like what the heck is that crap? And she's got bangs. And I'll have to go in when I'm in Flash. I'll have to go in and do this properly. That is disturbing. You know what's weird about like Breath of the Wild Zelda?
What?
Like she's not really sexy. Like she's wearing a sexy outfit, but I mean, her praying outfit is like really sexy, but it never comes off that way in game.
Let me go see if I can find a thingy of it.
Look for the in-game one. Like it does feel dignified.
In-game. What is it? The praying outfit?
Yeah. Priestess outfit.
Priestess outfit.
Like if it was anything but a Nintendo game, it would be sexified. But in hers is like it's very demure. But then you look up for any bit of fan art of it, and it's like, oh yeah, this is a lovemaking dress. This is a lovemaking bedroom dress. And we're not gonna put.
I'm trying to find it now because everything it has Link in the picture, and it's like no. Well, it's I don't care about Link right now.
Well, it's like how do you look up Breath of the Wild, or how do you put in Zelda Breath of the Wild without just it's the game, because it's kind of the name of the game. I find you have to put in Princess Zelda.
Oh God. I'm trying to think. Is her priestess outfit the blue one?
Just put in Zelda white dress.
Okay. Princess Zelda Breath of the Wild. White dress. Oh wow, apparently that has been searched by many people on the internet. I mean, it's still because it has the Empress waist, so it's conservative in its own way.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's someone drew the priestess outfit, and then all the way to the left of it, there's like she's wearing like a full-on blue ensemble over it.
Which is fine.
Yeah. No, I think they're showing like with the dress coat and without the dress coat.
Mhm. But what I find like interesting is that when you're looking for it yourself, it's not like it's demure. I mean, obviously it's like it's like nobody. I mean, okay, if you're praying to somebody, wow, like your god is male if you're praying to them in a dress like that. But it doesn't feel like as
if anything, it feels like she's a mom because it's almost like a maternity dress. Now that I'm looking at it.
Well, probably because the belt comes up so high. The belt comes up.
It's called the Empress waist. Or the Empress style waistline. And yeah.
But it's like when you go look up fan art, it's like, yep, Link is definitely getting some of that Mario cake when after the game.
Wow. Well,
it's funny because that's something else that's very interesting to unique to Zelda, or rather the evolution of her relationship with Link. Is that now more often than not she's like explicitly in love with him, which is very interesting to me.
Like I said, I haven't played Breath of the Wild, but I mean, from what I've heard, she's definitely more, like you said, more active in this. But from what I heard, she's also more like business-like so she's not overt in her expressions to Link, I guess, from what I understand, or is she?
She isn't, but mostly because it's a Nintendo game.
Okay.
Where it's like, if it was any other developer, she would probably explicitly be in love with it. Like, it would be overt, I love you, I love you, I love you. But, like, there's literally a point in the game where, like, Link is being sealed away for 100 years to recover from his injuries. And she tells his great Deku Tree, hey, you know, when he wakes up, I'm not going to be around, so could you tell him? And the tree's like, girl, this is a Zelda game. He'll be back. Save it for then. And, of course, you know, being a Nintendo game, she doesn't actually say it.
Yeah.
Like, even at the end of the game once you saved her.
Yeah. Well, everyone's all on Mifa, and I'm like, okay.
Well, because...
They basically gave Link a harem, in a sense, which is kind of like one of my pet peeves sometimes about games.
Oh, he's got a, like...
Or anime.
Like, there's Mifa, there's Zelda, there is another fish girl, and I think somebody else, like, somebody else wants Link's pants, too. Alright, so thumb is done. Let me crop that. Z-Alt. But yeah, somebody else wants into Link's pants, too. And like, the thing is, for the video game industry, it's very tasteful. Like, Link is never going to get with any other girl except Zelda, and even then, it's not going to be in any fashion that the player will ever see.
What was it say? Don't tell the Link Sidon fans that you'll break their little hearts.
Oh yeah. Well, and even that is its own sort of like it's not so much problematic as it's like a problematic discussion to have, not so much a problematic subject matter.
Yeah.
Wherein
that's just fans being fans.
Well, like I remember like when they were like when the screenshots of Link cross-dressing came into the picture.
Yes.
And everybody's like, "Oh man, a trans narrative or a possible trans narrative." I'm like, no. I mean, it would be
trans. Unfortunately.
Tell that to the fans.
Like I said, they're fans. Like I like if Nintendo makes official statements, it's like, okay, you're like like him being trans is not canon. That dream is kiboshed, just like your interspecies relationship is kiboshed. Like if it's canon, Nintendo's already said it, but like, you know, the fans are gonna be rabid and go on fanfic.net or AO3 anyway.
Well, I mean, and that's fine, but then you get the fans where it's like, no, it's very explicit, and it's like, no, it never was. And that's where I'm like, guys, we have better examples that we can use. One, we have better examples we can use. Two, we have other battles that we need to fight. And I forget where else I was going with this. I usually have a third point, but I lost it today.
I said Sidon Link, and then you were like, that's a whole problem in of it's like that whole narrative is an problem itself, and I was like, okay.
Well, not the
problem. What did you say? I don't even remember what you said.
The discussion around it is the problem, not the actual. Because I mean, like Link and Sidon together, I'm like, I want to hate this guy, but I can't.
How do you hate the dude cheering you on like every Wednesday Sunday?
Like, I mean, I wanted to hate him, and I can totally see where people are coming from. Like, as I put on somebody else's Facebook post about Sidon, I was like, I wanted to hate him, and then he let me ride him.
Dead.
I know, right? So I totally get it. I really do. But I'm also of the mindset that, you know, we need to pick our battles.
Oh, I know.
Like it's great to have the fantasy, but then somebody's gonna come by and quash it, and then you're not gonna have anything, and that's where it gets kind of like not so much. Does get a little bit heartbreaking.
I mean, I just think it's not heartbreaking as long as you know it's a fantasy. I think what you're talking about are like as anything else, the people that get too invested in it and can't leave it there. It's like, dude, come on.
Well, also my problem is that I think I get invested enough in, but I also don't get invested in the superfluous ways, and I think that sometimes as a consumer that interrupts the fun. Like I never got into the Star Wars expanded universe because in the back of my brain I was always like, somebody's gonna make another version of this. It's going to be canon. And then nothing that you're doing right now will be canon. Like, I could never get into the series, like, the expanded universe of... Like, I mean, yeah, within the games, because I didn't know any better at the time. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I love the adventures of Kyle Katarn and all that jazz. But I didn't really... but I never treated the books as canon. Let's stretch out a little bit. So, we're not going to stretch it out. We're going to squeeze that there. Yep. So that just means that there's more space for background. Good.
Nice.
Well, I didn't map out the 16:9 like I should have.
Oops. That's okay. Like you said, you shrink it, keep it in ratio, and then background. You can work on background stuff.
Ballad of the Goddess. Smash extended. Cool. But so like then you know Disney bought Star Wars.
Ah yes.
And then suddenly everybody's canon was not canon anymore.
Right.
And they were like, you can't do this. And they're like, yes, we can.
We own the rights. Yes, we do. We are Disney. We do all the things.
And there wasn't, at least, granted, then again, I play in cool circles with cooler heads. So, so there wasn't as much outrage as, like, say, maybe another community. At least not within my communities. But there was still the denial of, well, it's not the main canon, it's just an alternate canon. It's like, no, it's not even that. Yours literally does not count, and the things that you are referencing never happened. And it gets worse when you when the main canon then takes things from that alternate canon. So now the events cannot possibly be canon in the way that you want them to be.
Right.
Like, the fans were really excited that they brought in Grand Admiral Thrawn for Rebels.
Right. Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about that, yeah.
But that means that, you know, Grand Admiral Thrawn of the books is not canon anymore.
See, I never read the books, so I don't care.
Well, neither do I, but I don't want to hear those, I don't want to get into those arguments with people about it.
Yeah, but, like, just with any other fandom or long-time franchise or whatever, like... You're gonna have the super fans that literally track every single little detail, and then it's like, okay, we can't have this conversation. You're too invested.
Well, and I think that's starting to hurt our media now. Where it becomes, well, you just don't like it. You either you don't understand it or you don't like it. So therefore, your grievances can be written off as bias.
And it's like, you're not a major game critic or a movie critic or some type of critic with any credentials or experience under the belt. So therefore...
Well, you see that problem with major critics as well. Like, I love Movie Bob, but they're not from New York. The Mario Brothers are explicitly not from New York or anywhere on Earth.
I was gonna say, the original, like, if we're gonna do quote-unquote canon, the original game doesn't even say where they're from. You're just a dude running around on a stage jumping and crushing stuff and hitting boxes.
Like, yeah, we assume New York because Donkey Kong took place on a scaffold somewhere. But it was
we also assume New York because that horrible movie that shall not be named gave them, you know, those accents.
True. But like Bob goes into it in almost everything he talks about. Like, he's a smart dude, but he's also, like, very addicted to his nostalgia. So, like, Sonic is from a planet called Mobius. No, he's not. Until Sega comes out and says, Mobius, yes. We're sticking with that.
I thought that was in the cartoons only.
The cartoons and then the Archie comics that came afterwards.
Okay.
And then the Archie comics, like, slowly sort of pivoted when they got sued.
Oops.
So, shoot, I don't really feel like finishing this because, like, I spent so much time in making the pencils work.
It's supposed to be a warm-up. Yeah, you're not getting done, but are you warmed up?
Well, I am, but I also want to have the black and whites done for tomorrow's Instagram.
Okay.
Like
That makes sense.
it's part of my schedule now.
Part of list schedule.
Draw. Beat. Botwa. 01. Because it's going to be more than just inks. And oops, I have to hit stop recording. So for those who've never been to the skip stream, I don't work like forever and ever and ever forever. I do take breaks. Mostly so I can like recharge my mojo, if you believe in such a thing, and get my feels back. So I take a 3-minute break. I know it says 5. I take 3. If you stop, if like you let me know at the 3-minute more thing that it's 3 minutes rather than 5, I'm just gonna let you know I warned you. But so yeah, I take breaks. So like yeah, Sony Sega was like, oh yeah, it's Dr. Eggman, and the fans lost their minds. And it's like, but it's always been Dr. Eggman in Japan, because it was never as serious as the 90s cartoon wanted you to take it.
Right.
So that's where I start to have so that's where I'm starting to have problems now, is just like the fandom doesn't know how to self-educate.
The ever dilemma.
Which, I mean, that's fine. You are free to interpret how you want. But where I run into problems is when your interpretation starts to affect my ability to enjoy. And not in the kind of like, I'm mad you're happy sort of sense. In the, I can't get my good show because you keep paying for crap.
Yes.
Like, if the Bay films had flopped at any point consistently, I guarantee you, Hasbro would not have stopped. Hasbro would have, like, kicked out Michael Bay, and then
got another director.
Yeah, who took it seriously.
I don't think Michael Bay took this franchise as seriously because he had to work with certain actors that, I'm just gonna say, Shia LaBeouf, and from what I understand, what's her face was showing up drunk on the set, Megan Fox, like every day for the first 2 movies.
Well,
like she was constantly late. You know, like she's, from what I understand, she's horrible to work with. And Shia LaBeouf, well, we've seen some of his antics.
Well,
so I don't know what, like, if he's okay on set or what the deal is.
Well, not only that, but apparently Michael Bay is not fun to work with either.
Oh God. So yeah, it's just that's a trifecta of issues right there. Your actors / actors and director are not a joy to work with. And then you hear, like, you hear about, Leonardo DiCaprio, Martin Scorsese, and how great it is, and how everyone likes working with Leo, and likes working with Scorsese, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, but even Michael Bay, where it's like, you can tell that he's just doing whatever he wants, and he wasn't expecting to go get as far as he is, so now he's just kind of BSing it, but to the tune of $1 gajillion.
Yeah, but like, if you just, like, honestly, and this is where I guess artistic integrity comes into play, because it's like, yeah, you're a director, you're still to an extent an artist as well. And it's like, if you're really that bored with it,
leave.
Take the loss, cut your losses, because I know he probably has a penalty in his contract if he leaves before he directs how many franchises he signed up for. Like, just take the penalty and leave. I mean, it's not, because you can tell in the movies, it's not enjoyable for him to direct. It's not enjoyable for the fans to watch. I personally have seen every movie, and I'm like, after the first one, I was like, dang, he literally, like, dropped it after that. Like, nope.
Yep. And the thing is, enough people secretly enjoy it, and I'm not gonna draw comparisons.
Like, I enjoy the movie because the only reason I enjoy the movies is because I know what they are. Like, I'm not expecting Oscars. I like, especially since I know some of the background stuff, and it's like, okay, but you know what? It's giant robots going at each other, and the humans are second plate. Got it. That's fine. It's okay. I'll get my jollies out of that. And to me, the joy was watching my husband. At least, was it the second movie?
Yeah.
Where Optimus Prime fights Megatron and he gets wrecked.
Well, to be fair, Megatron gets wrecked in almost all of them after the first one.
Yeah, but anyway, there was a fight with Optimus Prime, and like, they got the nostalgia. My husband was very happy because he got to see his hero go into battle against the big baddie, and like, you know what? That's fine. That's if they can get that in the movie, that's fine.
Well, see, that's not enough for me.
I'm not. Yeah, but I'm not. But at the same time, like I said, I knew going into the movie, this is not what it's going to be. They're playing on the nostalgia. I'm not expecting, whatever. And I really did enjoy the movie because I wasn't going in expecting like all this great stuff with, the actors and directors the actor and the director they had and the budget they had. I was like, nope. Like, we're gonna watch this movie for what it is, a nostalgia fest and big robots, and I'm okay with that.
Ooh. Well, and see, my problem becomes like, then I come out of that, I'm thinking, okay, fine, whatever. It is what it is. And then I watch Transformers Prime, and I'm like, why the fuck can't I get that on the big screen? And that's not to say that Transformers Prime is the pinnacle of all Transformers. But,
I was saying, some people fight you. Some people fight you on that.
Well, those people will be wrong. Just because they don't like it doesn't make it bad. But, like, whenever I see a example of whatever I like done right, it makes the mediocre attempts incessantly frustrating.
Oh no, I get what you're saying.
Like, I didn't like granted, no. I am neutral on Age of Ultron, but you know what? Hulk versus Hulkbuster was what Batman versus Superman should have been. Even though I don't think that there's any way that Batman should ever be able to take Superman in a fight. But, for at least more than 5 seconds. But,
no.
It was cathartic. And it wasn't... Like, yeah, Hulk getting knocked out by a punch eventually was kind of, like, salty to me. Because I'm like, really? He's not mad enough to stay awake? But, or even fight unconsciously, because I know that that's a thing in the comics at some point. Which is weird, because I've never seen it. If Luffy can do it, if Goku can do it, the Hulk can do it.
But you have to remember, those people, Luffy and
Goku and...
and all them, they're kind of sentient of what they're doing. The Hulk is just a walking rage machine.
But, there was more catharsis for me in seeing the Hulk versus the Hulkbuster than seeing Batman go against Superman. Even though they're built on the same premise, similarly, like, one movie later, Captain America versus Iron Man. There was that catharsis that they wanted from Batman versus Superman, but not in Batman versus Superman. And so whenever it says, well, at least the fighting was good, I'm like, no! I mean, yes, but no!
It's like, we expect better. We deserve better.
Well, no, but when you settle for that, then you say, no, I don't deserve any better. This is the best that my medium can do. I think there's a lot of settling going on right now.
Well, from what I've seen also, there's also, at least on the anime side, there's a lot of pushback and vocal, like, we're not putting up with this pettiness anymore. Like, we're not putting up with this, we're not putting up with your mediocrity anymore. Because, especially with the Ghost in the Shell remake, and everybody pretty much said, go to hell.
Well, and even then, I feel like a little bit of that was not so much for the wrong reasons, but a little bit too, knee-jerk. Like, do I buy the whole, well, the Japanese like it, so I don't see what the problem is. It's
no.
It's like, yeah, well, guess what? The people who are complaining about it in America are also part Japanese.
Right.
And the movie's not...
And, I mean, I read there was an article that actually came out about that specific issue where three 3 Japanese American women. Like one was like a comics writer, one was I forget what the other occupations were.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they watched it and they said no Japanese mom would ever do that. I guess in one of the scenes where she actually meets her
mom,
her mom, I guess, when she was human.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like the way that mom even acted, the Japanese mom was acting. They're like, yeah, no Japanese mom would ever act that way.
And of course,
this is not immersive at all.
Well, it isn't for actual Japanese people.
Well, and it's not even that. Spoiler alert for anyone who's still wanting to see the movie. Cover your ears and cross off your audios. The plot point for that was that Scarlett Johansson's character was an American, which is why she was given an American cyborg body, and that the whole story was her brother, who's also American. Like they came over and they were in the army or whatever, and they died, and they were put into American cyborg bodies. That was the explanation. Then you find out after you watch the movie, that was a cover-up. The government lied to them. They were actually Japanese people who were given false backgrounds as Westerners being put into a Western body, and that's how they justified them being put into a Western-looking cyborg body.
Which even in of itself kind of reeks of BS, because it's like, in Japan, really?
No, and my husband's read the comics, and he goes, no. He goes, the reason people are getting upset is because even in the manga and the comics, the Major, or Kusanagi, even says, I am Japanese, I feel Japanese. Like, it's not something like, oh, well, you shouldn't get upset because, you know, she's not inherently Japanese. Her cyborg body could be whatever it wants. But like, no, it's like, it's almost the same issue with gender identity. It's like having a certain brain in a certain body and it's not matching up.
Mm-hmm. But it is one of those it is what it is things. Cause I forgot where we were started off with on that. Also, I put on Hamilton.
You're playing Hamilton. No, we start off with like the fandom being upset. It is what it is.
Well, I don't.
Because it went from Mario Brothers, you know, making them from New York when they're not from New York, or Sonic. We're doing all that stuff that's not canon, and then I went into Ghost in the Shell. That stuff, like, people got pissed off because it isn't canon what they did, and people were trying to actually defend it. It's like, no.
But I don't mind when we're smart about what we do, but we're not.
Well, that's what the point was. The point was that, like, American games and stuff, or at least the games in general, games and movies, aren't getting the treatment or getting the outrage that Hollywood is now getting for doing Japanese cartoons to live action.
Well, I mean, even yesterday, I wrote this, like, remember I made that post on Facebook where I was just like, I really need to stop writing articles for responses.
Yeah.
And
like that long one I saw, and I couldn't respond to it because it was like, I don't.
Oh, about the independent artist thing.
Yes.
That was short.
Dude, the thing was like 5 paragraphs.
You didn't see the one I wrote about which is also the other reason why I'm listening to Hamilton right now. But you didn't see the one I wrote about, like, about the difference between, like, because somebody wrote on the comics page. So how do I get more people to see my comic? I'm worried that my art isn't good, or not my art isn't good, but I'm worried that that the comic isn't good because people aren't reading it. And I'm like, there's a difference between people not reading it and people not seeing it. There's a difference between the comic being bad and people just not seeing it. Because if it was just a matter of quality, as much as I appreciate my readers or anyone who's reading in the who's in the chat right now, if popularity were a merit of quality, the Crimson Fly would be crap. It would be unobjectively crap because nobody's reading it. So I wrote this big thing about that. Or the one that really cheesed me off. Not so much cheesed me off, but got me really thinking. Is shoot, I need to turn off Hamilton because like the talking is actually confusing me. Let's put on favorites. Japan, because I didn't finish out Japan last night. And I can actually, because I can't understand the words, I don't have to pay attention to them. But like somebody was talking about the whole idea of like of how even in the talk of how like whenever we talk about comics, we don't really so much talk about comics anymore as we talk about the comic movies. Like the consciousness for those particular conversations have stopped. And I made this big, like, again, it was like an article where I was like, okay, first and foremost, I mean, I even had to break it down into like with titles and everything. I was like, first and foremost, movies are easier to consume than comics. That's just objective fact. It's easy to sit and watch something than it is to figure out what the pictures mean, figure out what the text means, figure out what the inflection is supposed to be, and then figure out which direction you're supposed to go after you're finished with the panel that you're currently reading. Movies are just objectively easier to consume.
Well, yeah. For me personally, movies are just more fun to watch.
Well, because you don't have to do any work.
Exactly.
And I think, like, video games have found that happen medium, but tangent. The point being that then, like, everybody else did this sort of circumstantial, well, I still read comics, well, I dropped off in this period of time, or, well, they're gonna come back and the movie talk is gonna go away. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? No! Things have changed irrevocably. But the conversations were just not smart. Like the only smart conversation that was being held was just the person who had incited the conversation in the first place.
Oh wow.
Like, and by not smart, I mean it's not so much that people were being dumb. It's just that big-headed Colin moment. Not having the right discussions, and they're not on my level. And I think there's also conversations that people just don't want to have either. If that makes sense.
No, it does. I mean, the only reason I speak about movies a lot is because that is my medium. That's what I'm most instructed in. So it's easier for me to break it down like that. Like I said, the only quote-unquote comics I read are indie comics. I don't read any of the big two. I don't buy any of the big two. I refuse.
And that's a problem for the big two.
Yeah.
Like I remember somebody actually wrote today earlier, and this one was truncated. But they wrote it. They you know that one the meeting comic where it's like, why are we failing? And then two people suggest something dumb, and then the third person will suggest the actual problem, and then get tossed out the window. Right? You remember that comic?
Yes. I mean, it's funny because it's true, and then it's like, yeah.
So somebody did that version of the comic, but with oh, hey, I'm gonna see if I can tempt Jen Sese into conversation.
Okay.
Talking smart things. But
lots of smart things.
But like so their three were like, Marvel, we're failing. What can we do to save our ship? And so the first person writes diversity. The second person says variant covers. And then like Slouchy McSloucherson says I don't know, hire good writers and writers and artists. And
yeah.
He gets thrown out the window.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean, yeah, that was just hilarious.
Well,
I was like, it's sad, but it's true.
Well, that's the thing. It's not true though. That's not the problem. Like, Marvel doesn't hire bad people on purpose. One, I mean, whether they're good or not is its own bag of chips. But they vet pretty heavily. Also, like, if that were true, Black Panther and the crew would not have been canceled. Because Tanahashi Coates was working on it. I don't even know who the artist was, but, like, Tanahashi Coates is the writer. And then, David Walker, like, last year, he had a book called Nighthawk, which was basically Batman, but against the police.
Okay.
Like, Black Batman versus police brutality. That was a comic.
Okay.
It got canceled. Why?
Oh.
Poor sales.
Yeah, and like I said, I will always go back to Colin Space Twink's Twitter for that, because I didn't, like, when I hear about new comics from the big two coming out, I don't see anything on social media extensively. I don't see anything on television. I don't see anything, I don't read magazines that much anymore. I mean, I used to read, like, let's say Game Informer and maybe 2 other gaming ones. There's nothing. Their advertising is where?
Well, not only that,
like,
the
ads in newspapers, word of mouth. Like, I feel like when it comes to advertising for their sales, even if they have like diverse characters, or, you know, Spider-Man being a black person now instead of a white person or whatever, they rest on their laurels too much.
Well, it's not. I mean, yes, but my main point was that the comic that the executive meeting comic was fundamentally flawed, and I was like,
oh, yeah.
This is if bad hiring practices were all it was, I'd be working at Marvel, because that would mean that their standards would be that low. It's like, oh, by the way, this internet pundit kid, I can't believe I'm referring to myself as a kid at age 30. But this internet pundit kid, he knows what's up. He can draw. He'll be our next person who does the thing.
It's almost like avoiding the real answer in the room. But
well,
hey.
because the answer that they came up with is convenient.
Well, like I said, avoiding the real answer.
Well, I mean, it's the problem that I have with our mutual acquaintance that shall not be named, because I don't really want the chat to be like bad mouthing them when if they do show up. But
yeah,
like whenever it's like you don't like, well, you like this bad thing, I'm like, no, I do like this thing, but the reason you call it bad is because you don't like it, not because it actually has like it has bad qualities. Now, granted, some of them do, like especially his favorite Default. Like, not gonna lie, but if it was purely all bad, they wouldn't be ripping it off like 10 years later.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why people, no matter how bad a franchise gets or whatever, like, because it rests on its laurels, or it's resting on its history or nostalgia, people are still gonna rip it off because it's doing something right that everyone wants. And
so, it's like, I feel like we're almost never having the right conversations about why things are the way they are. Like, I mean, sometimes we are. Like, I mean, number 45. I think everybody's kind of unified on that that was a mistake.
That's a mistake that shall not be named.
Well, also, I don't know who's in the stream, so.
Yeah.
But, but it's like, when somebody asks, oh, well, who'd win in a fight? That's not important. It never is. Well, why did XYZ do bad? It's like, well, it failed to entice me. Did you give it a shot? Like $3? Did you put in $3 to it? Because if you didn't, you're the part of the problem, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, to find out why something is bad, I think from what you just, even just that sentence, who would win in a fight, like, because the fact that it's about being right, the conversation more becomes about winning rather than actually having a conscientious debate about something. And
not gonna lie, I've made that mistake before too.
Oh, I do it all the time. Not gonna lie.
But it's so pervasive now at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't really know how to fix it other than, you know, hopefully whoever's listening in the chat, they take it with them. They start a conversation about it. And then more people show up to the chat, and then we get a discussion going. I mean, also, I think a lot of it, a little bit of it requires a little bit of a backbone that I personally do not have. Well, like, I mean, because like earlier today,
a lot of it also requires being like, yeah, I can see that happening. I mean, like I said, I can only speak from my experience of like, I do have a combative personality to a certain point. So even if I'm quote unquote debating something, like, I am subconsciously looking to win that argument, and I've been trying to like be like, am I looking to actually like be open-minded about this, or I'm looking to be like an ass right now? And if I'm looking to be an ass right now, I gotta stop and apologize right now.
Well, I mean, for me, sometimes there are statuses where I'm like, the fight is not worth it, and I'm not going to engage with this person because they can't handle what I feel, how I feel about it. Like earlier today, somebody was talking on Facebook about and this is I also hate these kinds of posts too. Like somebody was remarking on Facebook that they wanted to get back into comics, but they were afraid of like saying the wrong thing and being ostracized for their art. Well, because they have basically this person has a tendency of saying basically things that are technically innocuous, but in today's politically charged society, you can't, like, you have to understand the greater context of what you're saying. Like, right. They're the kind of person where they would say all lives matter innocently and be like very liberal. Right. But they would say all lives matter innocently, meaning the best possible intention of that, and then when called out on it would double down and be like, but I didn't mean it like that. And it's like, you don't get to control that.
Yeah, especially like,
I'm sorry, I just jumped in. I'm putting you on my stream.
Yay!
What are you guys talking about?
How much
and debates and arguments.
Basically, I think that the fandom needs, not the fandom. Well, yes, the fandom in every sense of the word, needs to start taking responsibility and self-educating themselves.
Wait, fandom of what?
Everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Wait, explain, because my brain, I'm being for real, Skip. My brain is just like right now. So.
Oh my.
Because I worked today and it was a very long day. I mean, not long as in, you know, like time consuming, but it was just more, yeah. Like,
it felt very shoot, now my brain's going fluff. It was very intensive.
Yes, it was very intensive. That's the word. It was very intensive because it didn't feel like I was there forever. It just felt very intensive because I was with this one customer for hours.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah. So it was. Yeah. But no, it wasn't bad. It was just really intensive. But continue. You said fandom of what?
So fandom as a whole, we need to start self-educating ourselves on the conversations that actually matter. I.e., how much did this movie do at the box office, and why? Not
like what kind of movies are you?
All the movies.
Right now, Wonder Woman. If Wonder Woman does better, well, what movie were we talking about? Crap. What was before the Wonder Woman movie?
Batman v Superman, Power Rangers. Like, here's the thing, like with Power Rangers, to use it as an example, I was really incensed with the whole, yes, look, we have diversity. Love us. And I'm like, but your movie's still bad. And everybody's like, diversity. And I'm like, but your movie's still bad.
You know what? Pause for a second. I want to pitch in on that. Because, super quick, just in general, like, kind of like going back to the project, you don't just create a story for the sake of diversity. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you could include people of diverse backgrounds. And I'm not just talking about race, I'm talking about, like, sexual orientation, choices in life. You know, like, diversity is everything. That's what makes us different, right? All the different walks of life. You don't just put in a diverse group of people just for the sake of putting a diverse group of people. There's gotta be an idea behind that. Why? Why are you putting a person of color in this story? what do they have to do in the story. And it doesn't have to be anything complex. It can just be, you know, they are this. Okay, great. Perfect. You know, you don't just put the Asian person in because they're Asian. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
But
then also you can, like, argue rep sweats, too. Like, in my story, yes, there's a person in there that's, like, of my descent. Like, they look kind of like me. You know? And people might be like, oh, she's based off a Filipino person, why can't she be more Filipino? And then it's like, hold on. I can't say that because, yes, my parents are both from the Philippines, but I can't relate to the, quote, stereotype because that's not who I am. I'm just Jen, and I just happen to be Filipino.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I'm only a quarter Filipino, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
My last name's Ignacio, so apparently that's Filipino.
Oh, yeah, that's the Spanish last name. Yep,
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, so, like, if Wonder Woman does well, which I hope, because we need it to do well.
She bay.
But here's something where it can become problematic and where I might be overthinking it. I don't want it to be a bad movie that does well, because I don't want it to be like Transformers, where that is apparent, where the public conscious believes that that's the best that the series can do.
I see where you're going.
Where it's like, oh yeah, well, it's like when someone says, well, that's a bad movie. It's like, well, what do you expect? It stars a woman. I'm like, what the no? No.
But in our case of Transformers, it's like people defend Transformers, and it's like, no, it was still bad despite the money and the special effects and whoever you had in it.
So I'd be lying if I said I'm not a little bit worried. But I also know that
a lot of special effects and all that stuff can.
What do you, kiddo?
Make up for a good story.
No, not anymore. Tomorrow. No, tomorrow. Sorry. You had a lot of cherries and blackberries, kiddo.
She's trying to steal more.
No, you can pet him. My niece is, well, she's being adorable, but it's a thing. But it's just like, I feel like I was telling Jiggy, because now that there's two gens. Mer?
Oh, sorry, I was saying hi to Alan because I'm streaming right now.
Oh, yeah, no, feel free to respond to your stream, too. Because, like, what I usually do is, like, if somebody comments, I'm like, XYZ said insert thing here. And then I respond. Feel free to go ahead and do that, too. So, where is it? Okay, cool. Start recording. So I feel like we're not having the conversations that we need to have. Like, not just in regards to, like, social justice, but just conversation in general. A lot of it is, like, very frustratingly anecdotal. Where it's like, well, this is my opinion, so blah. Like, one of the conversations, like, somebody posted today, and this is totally separate from the one we were just talking about, Jiggy. Like, so you know that thing that's been going around about dark skin and, like, how, like, XYZ is not, like, representation matters, so please stop making all your villains dark-skinned, or your evil super modes.
Yeah, I saw that comic.
And so,
not comic, I saw that meme, sorry.
And so the favorite rebuttal that always comes out of that is, well, Ganondorf doesn't count because he's the exception to his race. They're not normally like that. And I was like, yeah, except that up until Breath of the Wild, I don't know if you forgot, they kidnap dudes so that the dudes can impregnate them, and they're still depicted as thieves up until Breath of the Wild. They're not good people, as a whole. Like, it wasn't until Breath of the Wild where they're like, maybe we might want to make some of them, maybe we might want to rehabilitate that culture. Like, it was still this.
I mean, if you're talking about like dark-skinned people being evil, I mean, you guys know about the Far Cry 5 controversy right now, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, and I just watched Jim Quisition's thing on it, and he basically just shut that down gloriously.
Oh hey guys, I'm just gonna bounce for a second out of the Discord, just so I can address the other peeps in the stream. So I'll be back later.
Okay.
All right, no problem.
All right, cool. BRB.
Catch you later, the Gen Snake stream. So, yeah. Well, shoot, because we were in the middle of explaining the premise of this conversation, and now, like, the person we were explaining to is gone.
It's okay. I think she gets it.
So...
But yeah, the whole, you know, stop making characters darker when they're evil. And then here comes Far Cry 5, and everyone loses their mind. Like, literally.
But, and there's just no appreciation of the context either. It's just like... So, if this is not harmful, why do you care that that Far Cry is doing this now?
Well, exactly. Because that's that other meme that you put up, and I copy and pasted because it was gloriously awesome. Where it said representation doesn't, like, oh, it doesn't matter that you're not represented. That's not really representative of your race, religion, blah, blah, blah. And then on the other side, they, like, I'm explaining this for the people who don't think. On the other, in the same illustration, the character is actually two-faced. And the other face is saying, how dare you do this to me, blah, 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 blah. We're not all like that. Like, getting angry about the same thing being done to them. So, it was, I think it was very done well.
But, like, I feel like, one, not enough of those conversations are being had. And two, when they are being had, they're, like, distracted by the dumbest of, like, of tangents and minutia and anecdotes and stuff. Like, again, going back to that one thing where somebody was talking about how movies have come to dominate comics, half the comics were, well, either I still read comics or I have moved away for things, and I'm like, and they don't know why. And they blame it on poor stories, and it's like, yes, to an extent, part of that is Marvel's fault. But guess what? You're also telling Marvel you don't care that they're moving towards the films as the main thing, because eventually that's what's going to happen. Mark my words. The comics will be the spin-off of the movie.
Right.
And they'll just be adaptations for forever. Like, it won't be like, oh, this is an adaptation of this story. It'll be like, no, the comic is an adaptation of this movie. For anybody who doesn't have enough money to go see it in theaters.
Right. I mean, and if you now I'm thinking about it, like, yeah, you're not buying the Marvel comics anymore because you don't because the stories are bad, but you're still funding them because now you're gonna go see their movies. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like any other conglomerate. It's like they're not just in one thing anymore where, okay, I'm not gonna buy this anymore, and so it's not gonna hurt them. They're in other avenues now where it's like they can fund themselves.
Well, and the thing is that it also goes in the opposite direction. Like, I know I'm being very negative Nancy on the thing, but it's like one of the things that I've kind of struggled with is the realization that, like, beyond the animation, beyond the animation and my particular art style, Crimson Fly isn't hyper unique. Like, you go to any sort of, like, forum for African American artists, I guarantee you there's like 50 different superheroes.
Oh, like the Caribbean Justice League? Shoot.
Oh, Chill League?
Yeah, I mean, I've been waiting. I want to see. Like, I don't even know. Is their first comic even out yet? Because I know they're creating all these characters, and I'm just like, where's their first comic?
No, Caribbean Justice League is separate from Chill League.
Okay.
But it's like
the Caribbean Justice League that they keep putting on their Facebook, like all these characters and all these.
Because there's also the Chill League as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look that up. I'll have to look that up because I don't know what that is. But I just follow the artist who does the Caribbean Justice League.
But it becomes this weird, like, it's like, whenever I was like, well, why come we don't have any mainstream, black superheroes? It's like, well, there's your rub. The indies have you covered.
Indies have you covered because the mainstream has been dominated by a certain group. Because the comics have been around for, what, 100 years now? Close?
Yeah.
And so they've existed in it. So you're talking about comics started in a time period where segregation was real.
Well, but it gets.
I mean, you can't, like, you're talking about how many decades of a head start for them to gather their wealth, their IP, and all that stuff.
Well, it also becomes this thing of, like, it's not just, like, minority representation. But, like, remember, I don't know if you were, because we weren't friends at the time, But like Marvel, well, first Marvel made a big deal that North Star, their gay Canadian superhero, was getting married. Right?
Okay.
Marvel made a big deal.
Okay.
Then
take your word for it, because like I said, I don't read any of their stuff.
Then Archie made a big deal that that their gay character Kevin Keller was getting married.
Oh boy.
Then DC made a big deal that not Green Arrow, the original Green Lantern, Alan Scott, or rather the rebooted version of him, was also getting married. And I think we've lost everybody with all our political chat, because like it says there's only 3 people watching, and I know one of them is Nightbot.
Well, it's not even.
Well, it actually says we have 7 viewers, so that's weird.
Well, I'm on. Faywap, Best Ever's on, and then Sans is on.
So.
And I mean, if you want to move away from that, we can. It's like having an about the industry, the history of the industry, why we can't get half of this stuff done most of the time. And just as independent artists, it's especially since some of the people I know in your chat are trying to become independent artists or entrepreneurs themselves, and it's a pain. It's frustrating, and it sucks.
Well, yeah. So like back on our story, so all of these companies are patting themselves on the back for their diverse efforts. I can name 5 comics, independent indie webcomics. Maybe not like right off the top of my head right now, the second, but I can name 5 indie webcomics where the main protagonist is gay, or it's a huge theme with those characters.
Right.
Like not theme, like it's not like the story isn't about them being gay. But it's not as groundbreaking as Marvel and DC want it to be.
Right.
Because it's so normalized within the story. Like whenever the reveal happens, it's less about the character being coming out as gay, and more who they're infatuated with.
Right. And to a certain extent, it's like, I'm trying to think of what I was trying to say before. Like you said, they almost, in a way, by making it such a big deal out of it, and I'm not, like I said, I'm a cisgender female, no lie, so I'm not going to speak for her, but it almost seems like, and I've read tons of articles by, the LGBTQ community, where it's still, because it's a big reveal, it's still treated as the other, and therefore it's still seen as an outside thing, whereas, like you said, in indie comics, because it's treated as a norm, there is no this, oh my god, he's gay, oh my god, that's, like, I couldn't believe a black person did that, I can't believe a female, like, you know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal.
Well, also something that I was thinking about is that, like, I go to my local bookstore, and there's a gajillion books by all of the people. Like, I mean, mostly because I'm just, like, starting to run out of words now. But, like...
the artist people, or the main 2, or what?
Well, no, not comics, just books in general.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Like, there's just...
bookstore.
Well, yeah. But, like, how come we don't have that with indies? Like, not so much any Joe Schmo can write a book, but where is our, like, sort of super easy publishing house wherein millions of people, because not every book in the Barnes and Nobles is, like, new and hot and off the streets and all that jazz. But why don't we have that for comics?
What do you mean, like, when they hold, like, oh, the author of this book is going to be here today, blah, 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 for signing? Like, that kind of stuff?
No, even more mundane than that. I mean, I'm not phrasing this right. But that idea of, like, you can pick up a random book by a random person, and the book is probably maybe, like, a year to 3 years old, at most. Like, it's not like an archive, like, oh, it's, of Mice and Men, or Shakespeare, or what have you. It's like, no, somebody's self-help book that they just kind of randomly published.
Oh, like an indie publisher?
Not even indie publisher, just like the you walk into a store and you never think about, like, oh, how much work this person put into for this book. You're just like a book in general.
Yeah. Because I know when I go to Barnes & Noble, first off, I go to the manga section, no lie. But I do pass by a lot of the aisles and I see all those, especially those self-help books and stuff like that. Like, they're being, like, people are publishing their own stuff.
So how come?
Those?
Yeah.
Are you talking about those books?
Yeah. So how come we don't have something like that for the comics industry or the independent comics market? Like, why aren't there thousands of somebody's copy of somebody's book? Like, and not just restricted to the comic section, but just in general.
What do you mean, like a comic shop, let's say, has the same thing where this independent artist, or, like, you mean, how come they don't have tons of their comics, like, out in front?
Not tons of any, just, like, one person's comic. But we treat, like, comics as this hyper niche within book publishing.
Okay.
Why?
I'm gonna have to go with marketing and how it's the last, like I said, century it's been marketed to, it's marketing to. Like, when I talk to even my own family about comics, they still think it's for kids. And even though they grew up reading those comics, like, they stopped because they're like, oh, we're not reading this anymore because, you know, we're tired of it. And I think a lot of it has to do with that idea of comics. And in that same realm, comics, video games, cartoons, anime, stuff like that, like...
Oh, but I'm not even talking about public... Like, I'm not even talking about public perception of it.
Uh-huh.
Like...
Why isn't it given the same treatment as books?
Yeah, just like regular, like regular literature.
Because it's not, and then I'll make my point more. It's not seen as mature as books. It's seen as a juvenile form of media.
No, I'm still not communicating this properly.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just like it's not.
It's 9:30. It's 9:30. Do you need a tea or an energy drink?
Well, no, not yet.
Okay.
I know I just sniffled, but no, I'm good. I'm not gonna do my comic tonight. I'm just gonna finish this up and see if I can get to the grays, the inks and colors and stuff. This is what I get for doing something that's actually like more that has a story.
Still, it looks really good. I'm excited for it. I mean,
like, just the ubiquity of books and the ability to publish them and get multiple copies into multiple bookstores, and, like, just as a whole.
Well, the logistics are, off the top of my head, well, books are only black and white except the cover, because it's words. Comics are usually, at least American comics, are usually color.
True.
So that's more ink and more expensive, especially the bigger the book.
I think that's fair, but I also wonder why we haven't pivoted towards towards then just making everything black and white then. And I mean that's not to shift the goalposts.
Japanese comics are black and white, all like, and then like, you know, with screen tones.
Yeah.
But like other than that, they're black and white.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't mean to be shifting the goalposts, but it's like to get your own comic book published, it would be easier to get together a group of friends and make your own video game on Steam.
That doesn't mean it would be good, though.
No, that doesn't mean it would be good. Or even, like, whenever somebody's like, oh, I had an idea for an app. And... yeah. Like, and then they just do it. And it's like, I'm like, screw you! But every time...
And I want to kick myself in the face right now.
But, like, every time, like, you hear about somebody in the road to publishing in comics, and it's like this... It would be easier if you were actually Link trying to go save Princess Zelda.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. I think I'm getting it now. And I think, like I said, a lot of it has to do with logistics. Some of it, I'm gonna say, is gonna be culture, because comics is seen as a juvenile media form versus a book. And therefore, getting people to help, let's say, invest in your comic, angel investors, whatever, versus someone, hey, I'm writing a book about this, a self-help book, or I'm writing a non-fiction or something. And to me, a lot of it's the mindset of the public and the person themselves and the logistics, if anything. And
I think, yeah, and like going even further with logistics, I think like the idea of Diamond distributing has tainted that a little bit. And the idea that only Marvel and only DC can make books.
Yeah, okay.
like, I mean, and part of it's also that I haven't done the research, which is why this isn't which is why I don't have a, like, going back to my my post on Facebook where everybody's like, well, yeah, you should have a vlog and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, but I'm also, like, when I'm not talking out my ass, it's because I know this stuff to a T. So
right.
all the
like
other
well, like I said, the question you posited, like, I'm just shooting off the cuff myself, because, like, I can only think logically why a comic would not be as more readily available and to print and do all that thing as a book is.
So. And yep, so that is a thing that we are, and that's why I don't have a podcast or a thing like that, or a vlog, or well, like, article series, because it's like, okay, well, now I have to do some more research, and I already don't have time for that. Like, right. I was telling my mom that, like, because I was on the phone with my mom, and we got into an argument about why I haven't done XYZ thing, and I'm like, because I'm, like, hyper busy. And she was like, what do you mean you're so hyper busy? I'm like, I'm at a point now where I'm not going to bed when I need to go to bed to actually wake up and get enough hours of sleep, because I'm still trying to figure out, one, I'm trying to figure out that schedule, and two, let's see what that looks like so far. That actually looks pretty good. Can't wait to lay some inks on that.
Color, all the color.
So the question is, do I want to put Ganon on the same layer or not?
Well, is he overlapping?
They're overlapping.
Well, if he's behind them, I mean, if he's behind them, yeah, put him on a separate layer. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly because when I go into doing specific colors, I don't want to have this thing where his overlay is different from, well, his overlay would have to be different from their overlay. So.
Oh, I was gonna say, you can put them on the same layer later.
Yeah, actually, I'm just gonna keep them on the same layer, and this is gonna deal with it when I get to it.
Okay.
So, it just, there are so many conversations where we're not having the right conversation. And part of it's because we're distracted, part of it's because we don't want to think of ourselves as bad people, part of it's just, part of it is, we're not equipped to either think about it or discuss those sorts of things, etc., 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 etc. Like, my parents were saying, my mom was like, well, why don't you go into politics? Because I'd have to give up everything I want to do now to do it properly.
Not only that, politics is like social media. You gotta build a following.
And that means also, like, interacting with and advocating with people I genuinely don't care for. I'm sorry. Like, I have this one friend where they have social issues, and they asked, and so they're like, how does it go? Somebody was asking, it's like, wait, so, like, how do you get up in the morning? I'm like, I don't believe in society. I don't. Like, I play the game because I have to play the game. You can't get what you want if you don't play the game. But I don't believe in society as a whole. I believe in people, like, individuals. Like, for me, like, yeah, I don't engage on Twitch, because unless it's somebody I know and care about personally, and their group of people that I know and care about personally, and I'm finding that it's very hard to get invested in people's, like, not so much their streams, but their chats, because I'm like, I don't care about what's going on in the conversation. I don't. I just don't. Same thing, like, with society as a whole, where it's like, I could have told you Donald Trump was, in fact, I did warn people that, like, you had to take Donald Trump seriously, because people are going to be dumb. I kind of hope people, and yeah, the people in my immediate social circle didn't let me down. That's who I believe in. But as a whole, I just, like, society as it is, it's just like, if you take me into any particular situation and give me the news and ask me what the worst possible outcome, I'll be like, well, here's my prediction based off of what I know about people. And you're like, and they'll be like, that's really nihilistic. I'm like, no, that's people. You've seen people. Well, my friend.
First off, nihilistic from the word nihil means nothing. Therefore, it means nothing matters, and that's not what skepticism is at all.
Well, but you know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I mean, yeah, I'm misusing the word. Not gonna lie about that, but.
I was gonna say, like, people who prescribe to nihilism are just like, oh, nothing matters. Like, they're not depressed or anything, they just really think, yeah, nothing matters. But it's like, no. Stuff does matter, but you have to pick and choose which matters and make that count.
I was gonna say, because, like, you know the Earth is getting swallowed in the sun in 5 billion years, assuming human civilization survives that long.
No, I won't be around for that, gladly.
But I mean, like, if you're thinking about your personal legacy, it's not, like, your best chances of survival is to do something either really, really fantastic that people will remember for generations, or do something so horrible that people will never forget you for generations. I mean, the two extremes to that are Martin Luther King and Hitler.
Oh, absolutely. those were the first two that came to my mind. I was like, oh, hey.
But other than that, no, like, it will be as if you never existed within 300 years. Like, you can't even say that for Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, anybody who's created stuff for Marvel or DC. You can't even say that for them now, because it hasn't been 100 years yet.
Right.
Like, you can just barely say that for Walt Disney, and even that's sort of like, kind of like, if Disney doesn't, if the company doesn't crash his legacy into the ground.
BRB, hubby walked in.
Mm-hmm. No worries. And do I want to, let's save that real quick. Ah, crap, I haven't been recording. Mother fudger. Again. Well, let's save that. Ooh. That's just not how you draw smoke.
Alright, I'm back.
Hey! I just found out that for the last half hour I haven't been recording.
Oh, shoot.
Well, the good news is that there's still so much left to do that it won't really matter.
Right.
Like, it'll be frustrating, but it won't, be, a deal breaker.
Oh, I know. That's still funny, though. Don't you hate when that happens?
Oh, just a lot. Like, I don't know, I feel like there's just so much that we're not doing in and of the here and now that I'm just like, oh god, why?
I just face desk a lot because I'm like, never mind.
Well, it becomes this thing of like something that I like. I mean, the easiest example is like, comment, subscribe. How hard is that?
Apparently very.
But apparently, like you said, it's one is very hard, and two, just nobody cares to. So, well, even then, on the artist side of things, I'm surprised more of us aren't on Twitch or streaming. Does that not weird you out too?
On Twitch streaming? No, not really, because Twitch did start out as a gaming service streaming thing for gamers, and as well as YouTube. So, no. I mean, I know people are using it now to do it and finding the power in it, but it's only, I feel, I don't know if this is true, recently, that, you know, using Twitch as another avenue of getting your art out is a thing.
Well, I mean, like, not so much just Twitch, but just streaming in general. Is that just, like, something that we are just, like, No, and to be fair, like you said, it is relative. No, it's not.
Like I said,
I mean,
I wouldn't know.
Because I remember...
I don't know, I just feel like, when I hear Twitch, my initial reaction is, oh, it's another Let's Play gamer.
Oh,
like,
no.
I don't think creative.
No, and that's perfectly fine. But the idea of streaming artwork is not new.
Like, oh, no, it's not. On Twitch, I feel like it is. But on everything else, it not really.
Oh, and that's perfectly fine that it's new on Twitch. My problem is, how come we're not doing... How come there aren't more of us? And, okay, I haven't been on Picarto in a hot minute. But,
I was gonna say, I'm waiting to get that new processor before I even do the restream.io again.
Well, I mean, then there's... Well, and there's...
I feel like that fried it. It didn't fry it, or else my computer wouldn't be running, but I feel like to stream to 3 things at once, it needs that processing power.
Well, I mean, and that's also another rub, too. I mean, granted, I've been very lucky to be, 1, to be born into the family that I have been, 2, to take on the career path that I have taken, and 3, to just be where I am right now. I'm very lucky.
And you worked hard for it, not gonna lie. Giz and tight.
Thank you.
Jeez. I think you need to make that tea, dude.
Yeah, let me extend this break a little bit. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oof.
I was gonna say, so how's everybody else doing tonight? I mean, yeah, we forgot to record for a half hour there, but whatever. I stopped playing Warframe, I think, like 10 minutes ago, because I think I have to go do, like, adult things, like laundry, but I can do that while talking on the thing. Where's the other sock? There it is. But, let's see. Baba do I? Oh my god, I can't believe. I got an adult tomorrow. I got this week. Yeah. So I'm pretty much off every Wednesday. And because of the holiday, I still get paid for that day, so I still need to take a day off. So I will be off Wednesday. And then so I'm only going Tuesday, and then Thursday, Friday. So, hang on, let me check out his thing real quick. I'm still trying to figure out how to do this. Okay. Bong, bong, bong. Y tu fuerte, suspiro yo, chisa crudel. Bee 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 bee. I don't know. Maybe we should go in on a podcast or two, like once a week, and just talk about random things. I know we rant about other stuff, but lots of random things. I mean, I'll take song requests. If I don't know the song, though, I ain't singing it. Welcome to the disco. Let's see. I hear the TV being done in the background. It's probably almost done. Can I do that cheer thing? What's that cheer thing? Oh, I have 0 bits, boo. Whatever. Whatever. Let's see what kind of emotes are in here. Clappy hype. Oh my god. Hear Colin in the background. Maybe he's actually doing things. I see a kitty. I see a little girl with a kitty. Oh man, that poor cat. Grumpy cat, ladies and gentlemen, making an appearance. Oh boy. Let me call that Lonnie.
Well, you've improved. Cool. So you have improved. Cool. Oh, hey, Jiggy, if you're still here.
Oh, I'm here. It's funny. Your niece came running in on camera to get the cat on the couch in the back.
Yeah, my niece is fun like that.
I was like, oh, and there goes a grumpy cat. The way she lifted it off, I was like, oh my god, that cat's so pissed right now.
Well, he's more like moderately annoyed. As long as he can breathe and she's not hurting him, he's fine.
Yeah. Well, it's not like I can't text you. Be like, yo, you might want to get back to your room.
True. All right, so let's actually hit record this time.
Woohoo!
And boom. Hey, Jiggy comments. Yay.
Jiggy conference. Jiggy conference. I can't believe it's like 9:51.
I feel that. Oof.
Let's see.
Yeah, like, it's weird because normally something like this wouldn't take this long, but fan art being what it is.
Mm.
Alright, you can't hear the music.
No, I can't hear it. It's fine.
I'm listening to the thing from Sonic Mania. Hi. But shoot, I forgot what we were talking about because I'm still in the mood to chat. I just don't like have a subject matter that I'm like hyper passionate about right now.
How about we be hyper passionate about finishing the... You actually tried to cross it out before you erased it.
Huh?
I was saying, how about we get passionate about this Breath of the Wild piece? Cause it's like, oh, they even like, I can't believe this is gonna be my whole night. I'm like, well, let's go. Let's get passionate about this Breath of the Wild piece.
That's not if I try to go faster, it's just gonna make it sloppy. That's how I know I really don't care.
I know, the fact that you literally, I just saw you just try to scribble out a line using a line. I was like, okay.
But yeah,
we're at that point.
Well, because I usually try not to invoke so much detail unless like the full outline is completely clear. Like
right.
the silhouette is absolutely clear. I finished out all the other stuff, but the problem is that Zelda is such a detailed series that it's like you kind of can't do that.
Right.
In fact, like when I start to do the shadows, it's probably gonna be it's gonna Ganon's gonna get even scratchier.
Yeah.
Oof. Waiting for the tea to cool down so I can start drinking it.
Right.
So again, that's part of the problem with having a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Is that if you overload yourself and you don't allow yourself enough time,
right?
So then it becomes a thing.
No.
Like I'm lucky that for issue 6 there's not as much animated action as there was in issue 5 or really any of the other ones. Like a lot of it's just been sort of dialogue and exposition.
Mm-hmm.
And to my credit, most of it is like inferred exposition, not like explicit exposition.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when the Crimson Flyer reveals that they've got fly legs, they say like just like that one time. It's like, well, what do you mean that one time? You mean they've been able to use their legs before? It makes you think about it. At least that's the hope, anyway. I don't know. I found out a lot of the stuff I'm not sure it's coming across because nobody ever comments on it.
Okay.
So I'm like, am I doing it right? I don't know. But then again, I don't know. Oof. Well, and that's I think a lot of my other problem with sometimes when I try to pontificate about stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know. I think 30 is old. I feel like it used to be considered old, and now it's like not. Like 30 is the new 24.
30 is the new. At least for me, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna do whatever I want. Age, because reasons. I mean, like I said, at 25, I pretty much said, F it. I'm done with caring what people think about what I say or do, because I really, believe it or not, cared a lot about that before then.
Really?
And, oh yeah, and it made me very unhappy, and I basically had a psychotic break.
I find that's like most women in my life's thing.
Huh?
So I find that there's a point in that like that for almost every woman I know. Whereas, like, very few men ever have that problem to begin with. If they do, they're hyper-repressed.
Right. I mean, it's more of, yeah, I was raised in a way that, you know, I was still me to a certain extent because, yes, I played sports. Yes, I was good at it. Yes, I don't care what you thought of it if I killed you. the point was, once I was off the court or off the field, it was like, oh, you have to be a lady now and you have to act and do a certain way. I'm like, no. How about I don't? And it was struggling with, yeah, and it was struggling with that whole, like, well, you know, this is what we usually talk. This is the norm. This is not the norm. And it took me like a good while to be like, you know what, F the norm. Because if the norm means making me unhappy, then there's no point in me, you know, talking to you.
I feel that. I don't know, like,
so, yeah, so it took a hot minute to get there.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like part of the, like, a lot of my frustrations are, like, I'm trying to be older, younger. I mean, it's that age-old conundrum of childhood. Is I want to be an adult now, without fully understanding what being an adult means.
Well, there's no quote-unquote. Back then, adult meant, as I said earlier, giving up the comics, giving up the video games, giving up the. And it's like, because you're supposed to settle down, have a kid, go to the family functions, even though you don't like your Uncle Ron, or you can't stand half your family, you're obligated to go to family functions, or, you know, make those trips to these events and whatever. And that's the adult thing to do. And it's like, no.
Well, like no, don't you close that door. Sorry, my niece was like closing my door, and I was like, if my cat comes in here and he wants to come in here and he can't get in here because you've locked the door, I'm going to be very angry. Yeah. Then come in here and pet him.
Oh boy.
Oh wow, the tea's finally cold enough.
Yeah, are you gonna call your sister?
Oh no, she knows. My niece tried to lock the door on him so he wouldn't be able to run into the sanctuary of my room. And my thing is, I don't mind you coming in here and petting him while I can see you doing it. My problem is when you're doing it and like you're choking him out, and he can't fight back, and you only stop doing it because you see me walk into the room. So she hasn't found that happy balance of, because before it used to be like, I would tell her you just can't be around this cat. Mm-hmm. Now it's become, I don't mind if you're around the cat. I just need you to treat him as if you care about him like family. You treat him the way that you want to be treated. Meanwhile, Bess pops back in.
Yeah. Well, I put in a little icon because I was waiting for you to come back. I was like, let me go see what I can put in the chat. I was like, oh, little film thingy icon. But back to the subject matter. Yeah, adulting is, you know what? There's no such thing as quote unquote being an adult, because I go to a club and I get hammered every weekend.
When do you do this? And why do you not invite me?
I don't do this now. God, my age between 19 and 23.
Damn it.
Anyway, but then even when I was working full time and holding out a job and holding down an apartment, like paying my own stuff at 23, 24 years old, and yeah, I stopped going to the club, but you know, I'm still playing my video games. I still gotta ask, why do you play video games? Isn't that like a kid thing? And then this is like some people that ask me, and then I know that like, I know your kid has a problem with drugs. I know your kid's in jail. I was like, seriously?
Well, like for me,
you're gonna talk to me about that, and then you have issues borderline like. You want to talk about how great your kid is, or how great your life is, but like you have all these issues. But I'm not the adult because I play video games. Well,
for me, it's less about like maturity as a whole, and more like artistic maturity and what that means. So it's like whenever I part of the reason I didn't make a big stink about affiliation, I think the way a lot of other people did, is because I was like, but like people already don't interact with it that much. Like, and not like the one or two people, like, yeah, no, Best is here on a regular basis, Panda's here on a regular basis, Fake went, Sans, like, yeah, the regulars are here, and I appreciate that. Never gonna not appreciate that. But how much of my dissatisfaction is just the fact that I'm quote unquote new, versus, like what I do does not appeal to people, versus, I'm not marketing properly, etc., etc., etc. There just hasn't been enough time to really properly gauge things. And of course, there's also the learning curves of just the, not so much in of just like learning the trends of life as a whole. Like the idea that people are addicted to fan art. That is just a thing.
Oh yeah.
And it's never going to not be a thing. And wow, this fisheye idea just did not happen.
I mean, well,
I'll live. It is what it is. Like it still turned out alright.
It still looks good. I think, like someone said earlier, you have a lot of action going on. You have, you know, the receding space. I mean, the composition's great.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do for the background. I didn't think about that through. It says your friend NECA is watching. Hey NECA, welcome to the Skip stream. Yeah, we're just bitching and moaning about everything.
We're old. We bitch and moan about a lot of things.
Well, yeah, it's funny because we're old, but we're also not old.
Well, we're not old in, well, whatchamacallit, life terms, but we're old in, you know, millennial terms.
True. I wonder what the next generation will be called.
I don't know.
Oof. So like apparently 3 years is, or rather a year, is not really that old in like webcomics terms.
No, it is not, because there is actually a hockey comic I read, and it's been on for like three or 5 years, and it's only ending soon because it follows I think a gay hockey player in Canada. Oh yeah,
it was on NPR.
Yeah, I read that comic. It's been on for a while.
Well, it's funny because like it was just on NPR like last weekend. I was just like, God, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, but like it's cute. It was very cute, and I like the fact that, you know, it's about a sport. Like, I'm not gonna remember everybody. Oh man, I'm having like a blank moment right now about the name of the comic, and I should know because it's a hockey term. I can't think. Anyway. Either way, it's a cute little comic. I've been following it, but it's been on for like 3 or 5 years. And the main character's only just getting through college.
Yep.
The whole point of the comic is that it tells about his 4 years in college. And it's not that many pages. It's not a lot of pages, if you actually think about it, but it spans 5 years.
Well, it's funny because like I'm reaching like what I was supposed to be working on tonight was strip number 91. And, oh yeah, no, NECA writes, oh my god, Doctor Who mug, yeah, my sister, best sister in the world, not that she can hear me say this, she got me this mug for Christmas. Hot tea! Hot tea!
Yeah, you might want to put that down and, like, give it another 5 minutes.
Well, I don't want it to get cold.
Well, it's hot. It's not going to get cold in 5 minutes.
You don't know that. So I'm just giving you crap. But anywho, so whenever I'm like at conventions and I don't sell anything, I'm like, nobody likes my stuff. Is everybody lying to me when they say that they like it? But I'm also like, you got one book. Like, it doesn't matter how many pages, like, it doesn't matter how many strips you've done so far, you've got one book.
Yeah. And I think, and the thing is, those other, especially the one that was on NPR, like, yeah, she did 5 years, but, like, besides the comic strip, like, she does, like, pinups of her original characters. Yes, NECA, he's a bit of a tea guy.
Oh no, I am a hot fluids in my mouth guy. Shut up. That's not exactly that's not what I meant. You knew exactly what I meant. Disclaimer.
Okay.
You knew what I meant. Disclaimer, because I feel like that has to go with almost everything I say.
Sorry, my 12-year-old just came out. Anyway,
Oh, everybody's 12-year-old comes out whenever I talk. Shut up. You knew what I meant.
But
like she does
yeah,
pinups.
like she, I'm trying to get back to the topic. So, but yeah, no, she like has like posters and stuff of her original characters to supplement. I think that like that 1 or 2 issues she has. But I think because she's almost done, I think she has like 4 or 5 issues now. So, I mean.
Well, I mean, like.
Do that. Probably do that.
I remember I was talking to Drastic about this, and then like the idea of like not so much selling out to fan art, but the idea that that can supplement your artwork. Like this is gonna be my Friday video. Spoiler alert. And my knee's just acting funny. Let's lock that layer because I don't want to accidentally draw them.
And then I just think of like the people who are big. And you know what? They got big doing fan art, no lie. But even now, if they do their own original art, like I'm doing my own original thing, people buy it. People will be more inclined to be like, okay, cool, and they buy it up.
Well, and my thing is just like what can you do smarter? And also, am I really as unsuccessful as I feel? Or is it just the time factor just not kicking in because I know where I should be? Or either I know where I want to be, but I haven't put in the mileage yet.
Yeah.
Like the idea, like even my worst streams, like last week when we had the sound issues, were still miles better than my first stream where nobody showed up at all. And
oh yeah. I mean, I remember when you first started streaming, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, and time and circumstance. You got more people.
Like, and that's just been a thing. Not only that, but people are showing up without me having to go send out the shouting call.
Yeah.
Like before it went from NECA writes, what is this illustration for? Well, NECA, I do a Friday video series called SkipperWing Draws a Thing every Friday. And before, what these used to be is I would draw something original, or I would just draw some fan art. And a while ago back, I kind of got disillusioned with the idea of doing fan art, mostly because I couldn't really think of anything I really wanted to like super hyper draw. And then as I was like bemoaning like the lack of popularity of my stream, because I was just like, hey, I know all of you on Facebook can see it whenever I post that I'm going to be on stream. Why don't any of you show up? And so there was a whole bunch of like sort of really helpful indie answers, like, oh, well, are you advertising? Oh, maybe people showed up at certain times. Make sure you have a schedule. Blah, 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 blah. One of my former students basically said, look, I know how you feel about fan art and selling out and all of that jazz, but you're going to have to do it. So
we don't have the backing of a major studio or anything to help us get the word out.
So, I bit the bullet and I drew Jotaro Kujo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because I like JoJo's. I've gone through the entire cycle of loving it, seeing the flaws, and now just kind of being ambivalent about it. But I still do like it, and I like certain aspects of it. But anyway, I drew Jotaro Kujo, and I put it on Gen Sensei Art's art stream. And one of the guys there, one of the mods, Gabe Cheshire, so like, hey, so the JoJo's subreddit really loves this kind of stuff. Why don't you put it up there? So I was like, don't care, whatever. And I put it up on the JoJo subreddit, where it got 300 upvotes on the subreddit. And I was like, holy shizballs, that's really, really good. And somebody on the subreddit suggested, well, hey, what about Dio Brando? So I drew Dio, and didn't get quite as many views because it wasn't the novelty, had kind of worn off by then. But people really liked it. And I was like, well, maybe I can start getting back into doing fan art and just doing more SkipperWing Draws a Thing. But the idea is to have something both in a portfolio sense and in a personal sense, more to me than just the Crimson Fly. So no, this isn't going to be animated at all, because oh my god, this would be a nightmare to animate.
The texture of Ganon alone.
It would, I mean, don't get me wrong, that texture would be fun for the texture artist who loves doing that. But
still.
Oh my god, no. This is not going to be animated. Whew. So... Huh?
Speaking of JoJo, by the way, I hear my husband playing the theme song downstairs.
Speaking of... Oh, you're saying, mentioning that he's doing that right now.
Yeah, he's playing the JoJo theme downstairs right now.
Oh. I think he thinks his ears were burning.
Well, you're only playing in my headphones, so those are pretty good ears.
But, so yeah, this is for my Friday video. So, if you check out, or my weekend video, as the last video kind of proved. So, like, remember that snake drawing that, like, was really cool, but, like, you know, kind of gave you the willies because you don't like snakes, Nika? If you were to go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/user/SkipperWing, you'd see a speed paint video of me drawing that picture. And actually, let me double check that I'm recording right now, because I'm going to be cheesed if I'm not recording this.
You're going to be also paranoid now for the rest of the stream.
And I haven't been recording.
I thought you said, oh, let me hit record so I don't miss it.
Yeah, I said that, and then I didn't hit record.
Oh boy, we need that caffeine to kick in.
Well, I mean, it is what it is, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I can download it from Twitch.
Yeah, you can. I'm trying to remember now how good the whatever that quality was when I downloaded it.
Well, also I'm recording at 960 by 540, so it's not a big deal. Oof. I mean, it's not a super hyper massive loss. I'm still gonna be frustrated when I go to edit it.
Right.
But because all those Ganon textures were pretty. But what? Yes. Okay. My sister needs help getting up tomorrow.
Woo!
Is that the end of the video? Really? It's been 15 minutes?
Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
But, yeah. No, I don't want to listen to the extended Sonic Forces theme because, invincibility. How do they already know what the invincibility sounds like? The game's not out yet.
Oh boy. Someone leaked something.
Well, more like people just extended it.
Yeah.
Let's do Windmill Isle Day. Like, fans are hyper crazy like that. They'll find something and then they'll extend it. Like, there's 100 remixes of the Sonic Forces theme song, and the game's not out yet. And the full theme has not been released yet. So all everybody's going off of is a riff, and they don't know what it sounds like. And that's sort of what bugs me. I mean, that goes back to that chat we were talking about fandom. Where I was like, guys, just freaking wait. I guarantee you it'll be super badass and you'll be able to do all the remixes that you want. But you have to fucking wait. But no, the views are more important now. And not because they want the views. Or, no, wrong words. Not because they don't, not because they think that, oh my god, my remix will be so much more epic than whatever the official one is. No, they know that their fandom is counting on them to do, is counting on them to create some sort of response content, regardless of how necessary it is. It's why I hate, like, trailer review videos. I'm gonna review a promotion. I'm gonna speculate on said promotion and be completely and utterly wrong about it when the actual thing comes out. It's like, wouldn't it be really cool if this character from the cartoon showed up? This character from the cartoon is never showing up. Or like every time there's an Avengers movie and announcement, and somebody's like, oh man, you know what would be cool? If the Defenders showed up. Or if the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. showed up and lend a hand, and it would be epic and everything. And I'm like, they're not ever showing up. And you're like, you're just being a negative Nancy, man. I'm like, no! like, you keep the logistics of getting everybody together to pause whatever their TV careers, whatever they've got going on in their TV careers, just to show up for this movie. It's not happening, man. Then there's the logistics, the internal logistics of the characters. Like, Charlie Cox was the guy who plays Daredevil was kind of disappointed that Daredevil doesn't show up in Civil War. Oof. All right. So we're gonna hit stop recording. Jiggy, you're gonna remind me.
I'm gonna remind you?
Yes.
Okay, are you, like, stopping?
Yeah.
For, like, 5 minutes? Okay.
Yeah. So, you're gonna remind me to hit record.
Right. I'm gonna remind you to hit record. You actually have to hit record.
But, like, Charlie Cox was disappointed that Daredevil wasn't gonna show up in Civil War. But, you go and watch Civil War, and it kind of makes sense that Daredevil wouldn't show up in Civil War. Why would he?
I don't watch the series. Well, no, I don't watch the series, so I don't know.
Well, it's like this New York lawyer is suddenly, like, important for reasons.
You mean like Ben Affleck's Batman? You're suddenly important because the city got attacked?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like this New York lawyer who has lost his law practice by season... he's just beginning his law practice by season 1, and then he's lost his law practice by season 2.
Oh, dang. That sucks.
Mm-hmm. Not gonna be much help. Also, in a fight, Daredevil's powers, especially as proven through his Netflix series, is, oh, my powers let me see. I'm blind, but I can see.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, like, going back to Ben Affleck, actually, the horrible Daredevil movie. Like, wasn't it like Sonar or something?
Mm-hmm. But you think about it in the context of the airport fight, he's relegated to fighting Hawkeye or Black Widow.
And even then, I think Black Widow would totally own him.
Mm-hmm. So
that's her job.
Pretty much.
Like, I know your weakness, and let's go.
So Daredevil showing up in Civil War internally logistically doesn't make any sense. As much as we like it to, it wouldn't.
Right.
But you get the fan trailers where you're like, oh man, it would be so awesome if Coulson shows up and then he talks to Tony Stark and he talks to Captain America and they stop fighting. It's like, that's not happening.
No, they're gonna fight because they need a reason to fight.
But like a lot of the fan you can't see me doing it. Finger quotes. Analysis. It's just.
I think the only thing that really got me like going in terms of like, okay, this is so stupid. I'm going to like stop you right there. Is when the reasons why they had to quote unquote have a civil war. It wasn't even a civil war. They were fighting.
Well, to be fair, the Age of Ultron was a few days.
Yeah. No, but the whole point of Civil War, spoiler alert.
Alright, Jiggy, I'm about to start back up. We're gonna hit record this time.
Hit record. Make sure you hit the record button and it says recording.
Start recording? Cool.
Yes. Are we doing? Okay.
Yes, it's recording now.
Okay, good. The thing that got my goat going was like, they went to here's two extreme ideologies about an issue and we're not gonna touch that ground. And I'm like, I'm going to shoot somebody in the face really hard.
Well, I mean, that's endemic. That's an endemic problem of the superhero genre. Like, as much as we glorify superheroes, oh my god, I'd be terrified if one showed up in real life.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean,
egos involved, everything.
Was like Batman is judge, jury, and executioner, and the only reason he's not the villain is because we see his thought process. That's the only reason. It's not even that the Joker is worse, or he's Gotham is that bad. No, he is. It's only because we see his thought process that he's not the bad guy.
Oh, I know. But going back to why Civil War in that frame of thought is when they're discussing, you know, oh, we need 72 countries to sign off before we do a mission. That is utterly logistically ridiculous.
Oh, of course.
Because however many countries had to sign off for them to do Avengers operation. It's like, that is utterly ridiculous. Because if you have countries who have beef with each other, who have conflicts with each other, like, who's to say that these countries say no, even though this one country needs help, because they're allied with a country that the one country hates?
Well, I mean, that was Cap's point.
That is logistically was so stupid.
Well, that was Cap's point.
Well, and it's a legitimate point, but he said, but Cap's other point was we shouldn't have oversight, and it's like,
well, no, you need oversight.
But I'm saying he was the other extreme idea, and it's like, no, like, how about you do an op, and then because the Avengers is an operation for extreme purposes, they're not going to go out and do something like stupid.
Well, except that they
like,
kind of did.
Well, they kind of did. Okay, but you know, maybe have like a review council or something to go over what went wrong, why did it get wrong, how do we do this better, like a middle road. And that drove me nuts for the rest of the movie. Absolutely batshit insane. Because I'm like, oh my god, these are adults.
Well, I mean,
pretending to be adults.
Well, I mean, but that's the problem and this is where we go back to that whole thing of like, I want Wonder Woman to be legitimately good rather than like good because the social justice warriors turned out. And don't get me wrong, before you start hating on me, fam, I am very much a social justice warrior.
Oh, I know.
Well,
no,
you know.
I want it
but
to be legitimately good too. I mean, like,
well,
I understand the movement for minority and women movies, but
well,
like,
not that.
Good.
Well, not that.
Please be good.
Not that. This is the problem that we run into with superheroes. It was good for a superhero movie. As in, we need that caveat to say, oh yeah, well, we know you liked it, but it wasn't actually good. It was just good within the parameters that you set. If you measured it by legitimate parameters, this would not have been a good movie at all, and that's a problem.
Right. No, like I said, I get where you're coming from. And
so,
I mean,
like, that's where Civil War is that it was good for a superhero comic. And I mean, I would personally argue that was good as a movie, but that's also me. Oh, yeah.
Point was weak sauce. So weak sauce.
Yeah, plus I haven't, like, gone back and rewatched it since. Like, I mean, one could argue, and this would get into those minutia points that, like, I always hate to talk into, but it's like, well, they just never found the time to sit down and talk about it, even though, you know, they could have found the time to sit down and talk about it. In fact, they technically did.
They were sitting down and talking about it in that scene. They were all there.
Well, not only were they all there, even though the scene cut away from them actually talking about it, but then there was a scene where Tony tries to get Cap to sign on to it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And even then, you're talking about the two, like, they grew as characters throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then right there at that moment, it's like, oh, we're gonna regress to our 5-year-old childish self. Okay, I have to leave the room now.
Yep. Well, and then therein lies the rub, is that then there's going to be somebody be like, you didn't get it, or do what I did, where it's just like, well, maybe they were under stress.
Yes, you are under stress, but that is the most even worse time to make any sort of, you know, rational or like, very, very important decisions regarding, you know, world safety.
But lives were at stake, Jen. Lives were at stake. They couldn't hesitate.
Well, here's the thing: you panic, you die, and
well,
both of their sides were panicking.
I mean, I am just, you know, fudging with you, but.
I know, but for me personally, that's like my motto: you panic, you die, and it's like, I don't know, I flip out over dumb stuff because it is that stupid. But for like really serious stuff, I just compartmentalize and be like, okay.
Well, because the movie is asking you to take it seriously. So when you do, and you stumble across something where the movie is inconsistent, and you take it seriously, then when somebody comes back and says, well, why are you taking it seriously? It's just a movie. I'm like, the movie asked me to take it seriously.
Yeah, they're positing a situation that they're giving juvenile or not matured thought process towards, and it's like we're supposed to be like, okay, that's a legitimate reason to fight. No, it's not.
And the thing is that it's better than what was in the comics, because again, well, no, I didn't like the comics, but at the time when they were released, it was, this is good for what comics can do. Also, chat, if you don't like, if you guys feel like we're getting into stuff where it's like very uncomfortable and it making the stream not fun, we will stop. Just like let us know.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, we're just gonna keep going like this. I just want to let you guys know.
Yeah. Well, we're ranting about movies right now, and
well, this is kind of applicable to everything.
Well, yeah, it is, and yeah, and I guess people. I don't know what the average age is of your people that watch your stream, but we're coming from the sense that we're in our 30s. You know, we've done and seen a lot of stuff. We've been through a lot of stuff, so it's like we're not talking like, oh, you know, yeah, because totally like, no, we're speaking from.
What? We're not totally like doing the Valley Girl speak, but Jen, I can't even for very long.
No, it's just like how we see things is from that point of view. So I mean, I don't know what the ages of your streamers, but if they want to like chime in about like what their experiences are from their point of view, like, you know, chime on.
So chime on.
Skip on in.
Ho. See what you did there. But
so, yeah.
But it's like movies and comics say take us seriously, and then they're like, okay. This doesn't make any sense. This is sexist. This is racist, etc. Don't take us that seriously.
You can't have it both ways. You're not Schrodinger's comics. Be quiet.
Pretty much. Well, you're not Schrodinger's media, period.
Yeah. No.
Like, your creators aren't infallible. Your stories aren't infallible. And that's okay. As long as you get better.
Better and be consistent, like you said. They ask you to take them seriously, and then they do something not serious. And for someone like me, that type of inconsistency, or where there's two messages and they're polar opposites of each other, that fries my brain. I'm just like, no.
Oh, join the club. Join the club.
Alright, bye, NECA.
Well, stream's cussing out constantly for me. Oh, no. Well, the cool thing, NECA, is that you can actually check it out, after it's done.
Yeah.
It archives it. So, it'll be available for you to check out, and you can hear all our crying and moaning.
You can hear all our old people ranting.
Well, this assumes that NECA isn't around the same age.
See ya, mate! Oh.
Laters!
Peace.
So, it is what it is with movies. But then you have to have these conversations with people who don't want to have these conversations. Or
they don't have conversations with those people because no, my patience is long gone.
Or they say that they want to have those conversations, but they really don't. Or rather, when you veer into something that's kind of uncomfortable for them.
Are you drawing right now?
Yeah.
I'm in a break thing. It's still up.
Fuck.
I'm sitting here too, and I'm like, man, he hasn't put it up yet. I'm like, maybe he's doing. He doesn't.
I'm just gonna do the Dio and Jotaro one. See, I was saving the color versions of those, so I'm just gonna color those on an off time and just like put those up.
Nice surprise! Look at how much work you got done.
Well, that's my problem, is that like now so much work has been like lost to not actually hitting record. That it's not worth it to do a video of this.
No, I hear that.
So, like, I have the videos for Jotaro and Dio, and I had them saved, because I was like, at one point, one of these days, I'm gonna do it. And I'm just gonna do the colors for them, and then put those online. I found some remixes, and I actually got a person to let me, he gave me permission to use them for his, for the speed paints.
Nice.
Well, because that's sort of where I am with, like, with my life, is, like, is to, ask for permission and stuff and do things legally. So I'm just kind of mad that I wasn't recording this, because this is actually really cool, and I want it to be a wallpaper that I can give to people for download.
Well, just do a fade. I mean, the only thing I can suggest is like just do a fade, because like it's still a really good piece. It would be a shame not to put it up.
Well, no, the actual art is going to go up. It's just there won't be a video to go with it.
Well, what I mean is, now that you're doing it now, like, still use the video. Just do a fade cut between the thing, and then, be like, oops, forgot to take off the 5-minute button.
Oh yeah, well, like, yeah, so.
I mean,
we'll see. We'll see. Cause the other thing with editing that is just like finding out where finding the exact section where it pops to the part that I need to edit over.
Right.
And then which isn't that hard. I just would rather not have. Would rather not have to do it, or I'm just like too lazy to do it when it comes to editing. Well, because you gotta figure like I have about a day to edit it together, and then like the Thursday I have to record the audio and then all that jazz.
And all that jazz.
Well, and this is also while I'm going teaching at work, so.
Yeah.
That's why I don't stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays, even though I think those are better days for streaming. But the commute plus like getting home on time.
Right.
It's like, okay, well now I have to leave work immediately, run home, and then hope that traffic doesn't suck enough that I can get to my computer in time to boot up the stream.
Right. I mean, I just realized this week, I was like, oh, I got a 4-day work week. No, I don't. Because remember, I told you I got cut back to 4 days a week.
Yep.
The holiday day counts as a work, quote-unquote, payday, because we get paid for that day regardless. So I am only working 3 days this week.
Yeah, well, I would say yay, but you need that paycheck.
No, and it's also, like I said before, like, having that middle of the week, because it's a Wednesday that I'm off now, like, as someone who is extremely used to routine and discipline and everything through sports, it's like, that's still, like, I'm still a little, like, oh my god, what am I doing?
Well, and that's my problem, too, like, I just now got this, like, schedule thing going.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, oh yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will be, or they're Mondays and Wednesdays, I will be, you know what I might just do? I might just download the entire stream. How long have I been streaming? 3 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you usually stream like, what, 6 to 9, 9:30?
No, 6 to 10 is actually the stopping point usually.
Yeah, you half-hour past that, son.
Well, no, my problem is that when you try and put these into After Effects, then After Effects is like, yeah, only 3 hours, sir.
After Effects.
Well, what I could do is just like in QuickTime, if these save as QuickTime files, I can download the QuickTime files, and then just chop it up that way.
Right. I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean, I personally use Adobe Premiere. That's why I'm trying to think of, when you say edit, I'm thinking automatically that editing program.
Well, even Premiere doesn't take more than 3 hours of footage.
Right.
Like none of the Adobe programs do. The problem would be just chopping it up. If I can download it, chopping it up is not a problem.
Right.
If I can't download it, then this is a wash.
Wah.
Which would suck.
I mean,
I'm not worried. Like.
Oh no. But if you're worried about the length of the video, let me know. I'll see if I can have something that lets you go in and edit it right then and there. I mean, you might have to go with a cheapy program and see if it'll take the video to cut it up like, God, what's that thing? Sony Vegas or something.
Well, even cutting it up, I'm not worried about it. My problem, again, is just, can I download what I've got? Like, YouTube will let you re-download old videos.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And, like, Twitch has to be saving these because, like, it shows you what the last recording was.
Right.
So I know Twitch is saving these as archiving these videos, like they're recording it as I'm drawing. So its question is, can I get my hands on that recording? Like as a content creator, not as like the subscriber.
Right.
Because if I can do that, then I don't really. Having to chop it up in QuickTime is not a big deal. Hell, even having to chop it up in the other programs is not that big of a deal. Like, I'll find something to be able to chop it up. The question is just, can I get my hands on it?
You should be able to. And even then, one thing you can do, if you get really, at least the way I'm thinking of, is because Twitch lets you export to YouTube, and then just export it to YouTube as is, and then you just
download it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Twitch lets you export to YouTube? Where is that?
Yeah. In the video management part.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I might just do that for all my videos then.
Yeah, you can export to YouTube, and then you go use the that website, YouTube Download or whatever.
Yeah,
YouTube
keep vids or whatever.
Yeah, just find it and just download your own YouTube video.
So, Best writes, "Hey Skip, how's the streaming going? It's been going all right. I just have not been recording anything. So me and Jiggy are trying to workshop a way around having to like salvage the video. Like this is still going up tomorrow on Instagram, but I want to be able to use this for my Friday videos because this turned out pretty dang sweet." But, yeah, so it is what it is. And Zelda doesn't get too much shadowing because she's, like, she's a goddess, and I gave her muscles. Like, she's got arms!
She's got arms for days. What do you mean less than... Okay, I'm trying to find out how many chicken wings I have, and it's like, because Best Effort, I think, did it right after me.
Oh, you gotta do it again.
You earn 1 chicken wing. Well, yeah, I know I earned 1 chicken wing. Muscles. Yeah.
God, you guys have so many freaking chicken wings.
Dude. 4,000. Okay, let's see. Announced on a stream.
Alright, what do I want to do with this? Well, I want to do some highlights, so let's do that first.
I'm just gonna hoard chicken wings for a while.
That's what I've been doing. How many do I have? I'm not gonna give you guys the pleasure of finding out.
Wonder if I can...
What, find out for me?
Yeah, I was trying to see if the algorithm would let me put...
No, that's not how that works.
Yeah. I tried Best. I tried. High five. High five.
Or, I just will not ever let you guys know.
Hey, if I bet it all again, would you let us know?
Nope. You can go ahead.
No, it's not worth it. There's nothing of value on the table.
I see, now you know where I'm coming from.
Best says he likes chilling with us. It's like a Skype call.
We're fun like that. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what the intention for the stream was. I mean, even the cross stream, I think it's funny because every time I invite Jen, like, it's like, yeah, and then pops off and then like never comes back ever.
Well, Jen at one point, I see her on her thing. She's into whatever she's into. She probably forgot, or she probably got involved in something.
Oh yeah,
like,
well,
I know that happens to me a lot. I'm like, crap, I forgot about something. I gotta go back.
Well, also like with Jen and her streams, it's very earnest. But it's like
very what?
It's very earnest, but in a sort of like you're watching a movie sort of sense.
Oh, okay.
Like with me, you're either watching a podcast or you're watching a comedy show, and maybe occasionally you're watching you're watching like something educational. Occasionally. But with Jen, it's more.
Oh, I was gonna say with Bess was like, yeah, with us it's more like a podcast. I was like, yeah, pretty much.
What you mean, like, which it is like almost with everybody I invite on to a certain extent. I mean, granted, like I'm learning now that I'm like I don't have the right sort of what's the word? I lost the word, Jen.
You have that kind of what? Personality.
No, camaraderie. What's the word? Like vibe. No, like like when like two people have a vibe going, and I forget what the word is. It's really dumb because it's not a hard word.
It's not. I think it's a sports word actually. We call it being in the zone. Solidarity. We'll go with that.
No, that's not the word I'm looking for either.
I know.
It's the synonym for rapport. What's the synonym for rapport?
Synergy?
Sorta? No, but that's also not it either. I will remember it in the next stream and it will bug me.
I mean, like I said, I don't know.
But I don't have that with everybody. Like sometimes either like I remember one stream I was with somebody and I was like, I know we haven't talked in a while and I know you really want to talk. But this isn't about you.
Okay, best ever says affinity, bond, or empathy. Well,
no,
that's not empathy.
It's not empathy.
Not empathy. I think it's affinity.
It's not affinity either. That's not the word I'm looking for. I'm gonna be really See, now I'm stuck on this for the rest of the night. This is gonna suck.
Ha! Just kidding.
No. Oh God, no. It doesn't matter, but the point is that I don't have that connection with everybody. Like I know it's like whenever I'm talking with Chips, like eventually our conversations sort of like kind of quiet down and fizzle a little bit, because he's very low key, and I can't really bring him up to a high key. Like that's not how we gel.
Yeah.
So eventually, like we both kind of like stop talking, and just like go back to work, and it's like, well, that was pointless-ish. And then of course there was the gaming rule.
Ah, yes.
Well, and of course then there's also the whole like, hey, everybody's in on the joke but me. Yeah. Or there's like not so much in on the joke, but it's like when it's just me, then I'm like, okay, I can deal with not being in on the joke. When it's the one person who's like, yeah, I made a funny, this is gonna be my new funny joke, and nobody else is laughing, it's like, you're not on the same page. It's a problem.
Oops.
It happens. It's fair.
No, I know it happens.
Well, again, certain people have trouble reading different rooms. Like, it's always funny because, like, sometimes my colleagues will reference something from the 80s, and I'm like, and they're like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? I literally was not a twinkle in my mother's eye yet. I did not exist.
I was born in 84. That means, what, you were born in 87, 88? No, you're not 30 yet. So
oh, yeah, no. Oh, Bess is writing about the auto mod. Yeah, it's part of the thing now. Like, I'm not fixing auto mod.
Sorry, Bess. Auto mod stays. But
on the plus side, I think that you're smart enough to get around without it. So.
Yeah. So even then, you didn't quote unquote grow up in the 80s. It's like, no, you may have been born in the late 80s, but you grew up in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. But it's just like with the stream, it's like, okay, well, very specific people I would like to like, is why I'm very hesitant about making my making the Discord, like the voice Discord, like a super hyper public thing.
Right.
Because I'm like, no, not everybody needs to talk during the chat.
Right.
So, yeah, that is a thing. Like the auto mod and this video that I actually hit record on again, just in case. I'm getting some good stuff.
Is that dude's car going off again outside? Yo, some car alarm's been going off the last 2 days in a row. And it's like, the dude waits like 10 minutes to turn it off.
Sounds like it's time for a post-it note.
No, it's time for me to use my softball lockout. Like, now it'll have something to actually come out about.
Fun. Anyway, I'm just gonna work through the next break.
Yeah. Don't put the break thing up.
Oh yeah, nope, didn't do that this time. Although that's also the problem with those ones, is that like the break, for those ones where the breaker is stuck, it's gonna be stuck. Like there's no undoing that, getting around that, even if I do download it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I can edit that out, but.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, like, you can, like I said, just do the crossfade between you drawing, and take out the 5-minute break in between. Just the audio is gonna be, eh.
Well, like none of the audio goes through anyway, so like I mute that out and then just like talk over it. Meanwhile, Best writes, I'm really lucky to have found a good stream community in Nick Terhorse's stream, because I honestly feel like there's nowhere else I belong. You gotta move around then. It's part of the reason why I'm sort of excited to go to California because like I love my peeps here in Baltimore, but I also don't hang out with you guys enough, and it's like, yeah.
Well, to be fair, you're working on you, and that's understandable. I mean, if I were to say, Colin, you need to not do your stream tonight and come out, that's to me a little bit disrespectful because it's your business. So I mean,
Sure.
You're trying to start your business, and it's, while not a traditional business model, like, you know, opening a store or whatever, like if you're gonna treat it seriously like a business, I think as your friends they should also respect it as you would.
Well, I mean, like I sort of see where Best is coming from. I mean, granted, not within the streaming community. I think like this is what I have is like this is my corner, and I'm not really looking to go out to other people's corners and crap. Sorry, I think my hotkeys are starting to stop working because Flash is like, dude, there's a lot of stuff on screen. Again, it's a lot of detail. So I think this is going to turn out really cool when it's colored.
Oh yeah, I'm like kind of excited. I love color.
And somebody just Facebooked me.
Don't get me wrong, I'm a sucker for black and white. Like that one cover of what's that magazine? They did a special issue of just black, white / grayscale works, and then like the cover was like a straight up black and white, and a hint of like they only did gold as the one color coming off of it, and it looked awesome.
Huh.
Yeah. Shoot, it's an art magazine. It's I want to say a British art magazine. I don't know. Shoot, it's straight up for illustrations. Oh, Imagine FX. So I should know that. Yeah, Imagine FX did a black and white / grayscale feature, I think last year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, Short Chick...
Oh yeah, thanks, Best.
Well, no, Short Chickaroo just was asking me if I wanted to take a look at a reel, and I'm like, yeah, I totally would, I just not right this second.
It's like, in a minute, in a minute, in a minute, in
well,
a minute.
Not even then, like, I want to finish this now. Like, I didn't even take my break.
Go, Skippy, go.
Well, it's weird because, like, I think I'm I think, like, I have, thanks to, a number of factors, I have a bit of a chip on my shoulder when it comes to just, like, anything. Like, anything I'm really hyper passionate about.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think that's sort of manifesting, like, I think, like, as a teenager, I was very much a slacker type. Whereas, like, I couldn't see the point of what I was doing. Like, I knew I wasn't gonna be a scientist, so what the hell did it matter that I had good grades in science class? If that makes sense.
No, I know. It's that same debate of, like, why are we learning about the Pythagorean theorem? We're not going to use the Pythagorean theorem. Or anything else.
Best Reds, how long are you going into the night? I will probably be on for another, like, half hour at the most. Like, I'm going to get the lights done and then call it a night. So I can figure out how to get my stuff off my, off of Twitch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me go on my Twitch channel and see what exactly it is. It's like export, and then it gives like all these options how to export to YouTube, and then it takes like, depending on how long, 10-15 minutes.
Oh, this
at least that's the longest it's been for me. But
I've been streaming for like 3 hours.
Yeah. So when you go to Video Manager, you hit Manage Your Video. Hit more, and then hit export, and then it says export to YouTube automatically.
Cool. That means, is there another option for video?
Export. Split the video into 15-minute segments. You can say yes or no, so that can help you cut it up too. So
I will
that
take
when you download
that.
it from YouTube, they're automatically 15 minutes maximum a piece. 15 minutes. Yeah, you can split the video into 15-minute segments, yes or no. I always hit no. But if you have a problem that the video is 3 hours long, just hit yes, and yeah, you're gonna have to download a correct, like, 12 videos.
That's fine.
But
Like
Yeah,
I've had ones where I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot of videos. So I'll be fine.
And it says, did you know you can turn on YouTube Live annotations to automatically notify your YouTube viewers when you are live on Twitch in your account settings?
Yeah, I have that already set up.
Yeah, but yeah, just hit Video Manager, and you'll be in past broadcasts. Go to anyone that you're looking at, hit More, and hit Export, and it says
then
export to YouTube automatically.
I am totally going to export all my videos to YouTube then.
Ding 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 ding.
Well, why don't we more of us do that? I mean, aside from like, you know,
I do that.
Like, I don't know any other Twitch creative streamer who does that. Well, who isn't already like hyper massive somewhere else.
Yeah, no. I mean, I export everything to YouTube because Twitch only keeps my stuff for like what 30 days and then it erases it. So
yeah. But yeah.
YouTube keeps it forever.
Well, also because like when I did the restream, like it archived, it saved it, and then it what's the word? Like I got 19 views off of that.
Right.
Which is like more than I almost always ever get, like with YouTube viewing, because I don't have a name yet. Because I don't have a big name anyway.
Yeah, me neither. It's okay though.
And then Hyper Shiny Horse is Hyper Shiny.
Shiny horse. But yeah.
Almost done.
I can't believe it's 10 to 11 already. Jeez.
I know, right?
Right.
You've been having so much fun here.
I know.
Don't worry.
But my body is starting to be like, hey, it's that time, and I'm like, no, give me like 5 more minutes. I'm like, all right, I need to go get an iced tea or something for my car, and then I'm probably gonna plan out tomorrow night and Wednesday, because tomorrow night I'm definitely streaming art. Wednesday afternoon I'll stream art, and then Wednesday night I'll be streaming games.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sketching tomorrow on the train. It's gonna be fun because like in the silent video, cause it's just gonna be my head, like poking out the bottom of my Cintiq. Well, because like the Cintiq has a camera.
Oh, I know.
So it's just like, but the problem is that it's not very good for. It really isn't very good for like communicating on the stand. And because Link is looking backwards, most of his hair is just not gonna be illuminated, or most of him is just not gonna be illuminated. And I'll just fake the background tomorrow. I don't really need an ink background. Yeah, Zelda really makes this look a lot better.
Yeah, she's like, WTF, dude, really?
Well, it's funny because like I kind of want to do a fan comic where on the one hand she's like really angry at him for like not doing it, or for not taking the shot. Yeah. But on the other hand, she's really happy because she's a scientist in this version.
That is true.
So she would want him to take the shot. So it's like, or like at her birthday party, like her 21st birthday party, or 19th birthday party. No, 18th, because like it's a plot point that she turned 17 in Breath of the Wild. But
okay.
Her 17th birthday party, like Link has a picture of Ganon, and everybody's like, "What are you doing? What are you crazy? Why would you want a picture of Ganon?" She's like, "Oh man, you got all the details, and we can study him and figure out how the malice works, and blah 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 blah." And everybody's just kind of weirded out that she's like geeking out over this picture that Link was thoughtful enough to give her. So I think we're almost done though.
Cool. Well, if you don't mind, I'm gonna hop off and get a drink and just chill. Probably watch TV for the rest of the night or something. But I need to shut my brain down somehow.
Well, like give the stream 2 more seconds. I know. I know.
Stream 2 more seconds.
Because we're pretty much are almost done.
Okay, no problem. I'll stick around.
Whoops. Clicked on a thing. And so I can listen to Sonic music as per usual on the stream. Yeah, I have no idea how the colors for this are gonna work.
I mean, what's your gonna be? Because I know you do that overlay thing. What's your dominant? Blue?
It's
the champion.
It's probably gonna be blue and purple.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like not as much red as I usually do.
No.
But
well,
like blue to green with blue to green for Link, with maybe a yellow to green to, rather yellow to green to sort of teal blue fade.
Okay.
And then maybe a little bit of soft stuff radiating off of Ganon.
Okay.
No, Zelda doesn't really need hyper shadows and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Nice.
Alright, did I actually hit the recording button? No. Alright, everybody, that's it for tonight's stream. I really need to make an ending thing. Let's see who's still watching.
Put it on the to-do list.
Well, all I have to do is just change the text for the export. So, actually, let me go back to streaming real quick. Best, Fagwent, NECA is apparently still here somehow. So I guess she just has the window open.
Yeah.
It is time. That's the grayscale, so I'm gonna export it. Then I'm gonna actually like keep Jiggy on for like 5 more seconds so she can explain this thing to me, the video export, so I can get the video for this. Cause it turned out really well, and I'd really hate to not have this as a Friday video.
Right. It'll take 2 seconds. Once you see how it is, it'd be like, oh, okay, ding. And then once I give you the link for the YouTube download, it'll be easy.
So this will be up on my Instagram. Let me see what the command is. Insta. That's not it.
Is it Instagram?
Yeah. Maybe. Because I made a command specifically for that. So, yeah. This will be up on Instagram tomorrow, as what you're seeing here. On Wednesday we're gonna color it, and it's probably gonna take just as long. And then on Friday, you can see this, hopefully, if we get this thing squared away, you can see the speed paint of it on YouTube at youtube.com. YouTube.
The YouTube.
So, again, best, Fagwent, NECA G, or GA, I don't know, I should ask you about that in person. But anyway, thank you for popping by tonight's Skip stream, and I will see you on Wednesday!